Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Tenant Farmer. My name, as always, is David. I do hope you're doing very well today. This morning, we've got a lot of things to do, really. I'm going to start off by just feeding cattle. We've got one load done already. We just need to get this second load done and dusted. And then we've got a few other things to do. We're going to show you some of the progress we've been making recently with our seeding efforts. Some success. Not quite so successful attempts, and then we've got to go and sell some bales. We're finally ready to sell off some of our hay bales. The small square bales we made are all stacked up on the trailer just through the shed behind the header, and we're going to take that away to a local stables, so that's going to be fun. Now we do just need to pick up a bale of silage here. Let's just be easy, just take this one in the corner and get this all loaded in, ready to go. We're just loading up a bit of a forage mix here, really, for the beef cattle, which will do them fine. Allows them to put on as much weight as they need to, get them to finish up a little bit as well, as they continue to grow, which is good. But yeah, let's get that on, and we should be fine. It's another cracking day here. We are really getting a bit colder though now. Into November here, so it is getting a little bit chillier. Not much is happening else on the farm, really. We're just kind of biding our time and keeping everything going along where we can, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at the moment, at least. We've actually also got, as you can see just on the trailer, some mineral feed that we're going to try at some point soon, and hopefully that will just give them that extra little bump that they need, really, when it gets to finishing them off. But we're going to be having them here through until the spring anyway, so they've got plenty of time. Let's make sure we're not getting too close to those. There you go. Excellent stuff. So what we're going to do, we're just going to park the Massey here now, actually. We'll let that mix over for a little bit longer. We're going to leave this muck grab about here. We'll drop that off. We'll leave the loader on. And then we can hook up to the trailer, so we're ready to go in just a wee while. And then, yeah, we're not going too far. It's not going to take us too long to take that away, but we will get to do that fairly soon. Some important developments, though, with some of the crops. As you may recall from the last month then when we were with you, we were looking into reseeding some grass pasture. And it's been something that I wanted to do for a while. And I knew there would be some benefit to doing it there. And well, we're just going to show you what that looks like, really. But anyway, onwards we go. We'll just take the Fiat over up the hill. Fresh from its rolling duties last month as well. Nice to get a little bit of a run out. Okay. We'll just shut that down for now. They might actually get fed in a little bit, depending upon what they got left up there from last night. We might leave it, push it up in a little bit, make sure it's looking a bit tidier, and then feed them up there. As long as they get an extra certain amount per day, I'm not really too concerned when they get it, to be honest. There's a deer milling around the yard here. Here's a heavy load. Oh yeah, they got plenty left here for now. Even better then. So what we will do is just stick this about here. Excellent stuff. And then let's go for a bit of a walk, really. So many of you will know, if you've been watching these for a while, that once upon a time there was an equestrian center in here, and that was fine. We removed all of the apparatus, really, in the stables a while ago, and then I wanted to get this into a bit better of a quality grass, really. So we reseeded. And there was a bit of a track around here. We ripped through it with our soil compaction, kind of triple leg subsoiler, really. It's minimal disturbance, so when you do use it, it doesn't rip up the top of the soil, or it doesn't turn anything over. It just breaks up that pan that you might have there and allows you to break up the compaction, really. And then we came over and reseeded it, and this is what we've got. I'm really happy with it. It is a lovely looking paddock now. The grass has really come on leaps and bounds into here, and it's allowed us to be able to really get a better idea of what we can do here, really. We didn't go too close to the edge, and you can see what that difference looks like in terms of the grass before and the grass after there. So I'm really chuffed with how that's looking. And hopefully we can maybe get this cut for some hay next year. Might be able to make something useful out of it, and that will be great. Our pigs are thriving through here as well. They're really still loving being outside. They do have their sties if they need to get out of it, but yeah, they are doing very, very well. Kind of in their own way, they're really benefiting the soil there as well. They turn it over, they mush through it all, and they root up all of the nutrients underneath and allow it to turn that soil over and fertilize it at the same time there. So happy with that. Now that's the good bit. There is a less fun area. Now we're gonna go and take the Land Rover to have a look. We did try direct drilling some oilseed rape, and which, to be honest, we'll just cut through here. Morning, ladies. Was to be honest, it was definitely a trial. And I'm not overly disappointed with how the crops actually come on in. I think it's probably as good as we've seen from an oilseed rape crop when we've drilled it with the combination drill. There's just a few areas perhaps that we need to focus on, and we are going to be focusing on before it gets too much colder. And we'll have to just have a little bit of work done there. We're going to start some of that this afternoon. We'll just take a bit of a drive through the paddock here and show you what I mean by that. There's plenty of grass around here. So look at all the grass over there as well. Really quite impressive. So as we come down, we're just going to stop about there. That's lovely. Look at the color on the trees. Isn't that just fantastic to see? Okay. So we'll stop about here for now. And here you go. So this is our field of oilseed rape. You can see it was direct drilled in, and for the most part it's come through very, very well indeed. The establishment I'm really pleased with. There's a nice thick looking even carpet. No real issues with slugs here so far as well. We didn't really see that. Pigeons weren't too much of an issue as well. Quite surprised by that, given that we've got quite a wooded area here that they could perhaps have nested in. But look at the weeds in here. We've got a mixture of dock, we've got thistles coming through here, and God knows what else. So we do need to get onto this, otherwise this is soon going to be a catastrophe, really. Now, part of me did expect this. When you are direct drilling, it does almost encourage a little bit more of a weed growth. You know, you're not burying any of the weeds or killing any weed seeds off by doing any deep cultivation. You are opening yourself up to this, really, and that is something that we're going to try and conquer this afternoon. The wind is supposed to stay relatively quiet for the next little while, so the Massey 5470 is hooked up to the sprayer, ready to go, and we're going to come into here and just try and get on top of these and kill these off before it causes any more harm. You can see it's very much coming through in patches as well, a little bit all over the place really there, and I don't know if that's something to do with us having sunflowers sitting here prior to this or not. That was the first time growing sunflowers, and to be honest, it was kind of the first time we've seen such an aggressive weed coming through. But quite a lot of organic matter left on the deck here as well, so maybe that's to do with it. But I'm fairly confident that the organic matter will help in the long run for the fertility of the soil there, and I'm happy that we didn't plow into this field, and I'm happy that we're going to keep it. But we'll just have to have a bit of a play around with it, and well, let's see how it all pans out. And I'm fine to do that. We just got to get on top of it now. The weeds, I mean, I checked this field just the other day, and there was a few patches coming through. They've really shot through in the last 24, maybe 48 hours. So we will get after it, and we'll control it, and that's what we have to do, really. Sometimes you can predict as farmers, sometimes you've got to react, but it is all, as long as we do something, it will be good. Now we need to go and sell some of our bales, really. We made, it would probably been about 2.5-3 acres in the end of small baled hay. And for the most part, they've just sat in the shed there, doing nothing really for the last little while. And it's time that we change that a little bit. Bump over there. And we finally got a buyer for them. So we're going to take them away. We're going to take them down to a store that sells, that works especially with equine products. And that should be able, we're going to sell them there, or they've got a buyer already lined up for them, so we are going to get them taken straight away. We just need to park this into here for now. Wonderful stuff. And then, yeah, quite a few bales in there. Had to stack all those up there last night. Got a sweat on doing that, let me tell you. But let's get that lifted up. I hope we can get ourselves out of here without causing any mischief. Should be good, I think. Excellent stuff. Alright, thought we'd take the smaller tractor here just because it's easier if we're on here already. And yeah, don't have to take the sprayer off there. Ooh, get over there. So I hope everything is going well with yourself, wherever you are watching. Do let us know what you're what's keeping you going. Like I say, we're starting to focus on a few small little bits and pieces, and that's allowing us to get the farm in top shape. A few little bits of field work here and there to do, and that's fine. We'll take care of those as and when we need to. But yeah, all eyes are going to be on next. On the springtime now, and there's a few things that I'm trying to look into. I've got to speak to a few of the other local farmers because there's a bit of an idea brewing apparently that I want to try and see if I can get in on board with. That could help us out immeasurably. All right, into fourth, there we go. Perfect stuff, and we're away. Like I say, not too far for us to go here. We're just going to take our time down through the village, and then we're going to go up the hill here. There you go. You gotta find the right. With this tractor, I find that when you are, when you're in the yard there, you're working around, you don't really notice the effectiveness of the gearbox here. But when you're trying to climb a hill, this has a very specific range in which it wants you to climb in. And if you're not in B, or if you're not in 2, you won't go very far there. If you're not in second gear there or the second range, it will struggle a little bit. And yeah, it's funny how that goes. But once you get into that, seems to be fine and seems to be away. And that one was actually weirdly, I think I jinxed it. That was a lot harder than I thought it would be, but we're fine through. We're up, and we will get our stuff going. But the front loaded down just to get a little bit more traction on the front end, which was weird, but never mind. We'll we don't have any more hills like that to go over anyway, especially not with not even a full load on the back. Really, we just got half a load. Anyway. We'll drop these off. I'm not expecting it to be too busy here. We've agreed upon a price as well, so it's not going to be too much, but it's better than them sitting in the corner of our shed. Brings in a little bit extra for that meadow field really that we weren't really doing much with anyway. So it allows us to get a little bit of extra money, which I'm always keen for. I think we're just going to be the gateway that they've changed things around down here a little bit, but I believe the gateway is just coming up on the left. And we'll drop this off, then we'll go back over to the yard once we're done, pick up the sprayer and go and see if we can get everything tackled over there. Lots to do today. Hoping, I'm waiting to speak to somebody about a little the lend of a little compact tractor with a rotavator on the back so we can get some work done with our little designated fruit and veg area. So we'll have to see how that goes. Fingers crossed on that one. Anyway, let's see where we're going here. We'll get this all sorted out. And that was quite successful. Really, I think we did pretty well off that. Better than I really thought when I didn't really calculate everything out there. So, yeah, very happy with the amount of money that we brought in for those. And yeah, we will probably look to where we can do a bit more of that, a bit more of a higher, larger scale really in the next summer, which would be great. Now that we have that next pasture that we just reseeded there, we should be able to get some better quality hay off of there maybe, or at least I'd hope so. So that would set us up for success. So that's the idea, and that's the dream behind that, at least. And then, yeah, always looking to find ways that you can make a little bit more money wherever possible, and that's going to be a great option for us. We didn't really make as much grass as we could into hay or silage just yet. We could always make a little bit more. We've still got a bit to sell as well, if you remember, down at the far fields there. So we're just waiting to see if we get someone to offer a good price up there. Let's not hit the neighbor's car. And then, yeah, we'll look to make a little bit more revenue where we can. Revenue streams aren't the easiest to diversify when you're at a smaller scale like this. You gotta be pretty careful and pretty creative as well. You know, a lot of people have looked down the avenues of potential Airbnb options and what that would look like, and trying to create little hiding places really from the city, but that's not really something I want to have to look at or even consider caring for, really. Okay, we're going to tuck this into here. Watch that wall at the front there, it's looking better. Fantastic. That'll do us. Alright, so we can just park this back over here again for now. No doubt we'll get on to this in, well, later on for when we're going to feed up the milking herd. And we'll see how that goes. We're going to be using for the herbicide, we're going to be using a bit, we had a bit of Atlantis left over from when we sprayed off the winter barley. So we're going to use a bit of that just to see if I can tackle it. It looks to be a very similar weed for the most part, so hopefully we should be good with it. Let's leave you about there. So we've got that mixed up already, ready to go. And it shouldn't take us too long to get it applied. Not the biggest field in the world ever, but it'd be good just to get after it. But yeah, that's going to be the plan for the next little while. Well, it is lashing it down. Ooh, we've got a rainbow. We're not doing too much today. Everything's been fed up. We've just got a few small little jobs that we're going to look into and make sure that everything is looking well and indeed working well. This morning I've done a little bit of work in the shed here. Just looking at a few bits of equipment, servicing a few bits up that we've used recently. You know, tidying up things on the baler and the drill for the most part, but everything else is looking good. We had some paint arrive recently, so we did a little bit of touch-up work on some of the worst areas of rust that's starting to come through on the combine, but that's looking much better for it now. I really do like that. Anyway, let's get that out. Let's get that shut. Like I said, cattle are all fed up, and yesterday we went to pick up a new topper, as it goes, and we're going to use that this morning to do a few little bits of tidy up, and then we've got to go and pick up our slurry tanker because it's not here, it's away, having something installed on it. We've been getting a few things done to it as part of a grand scheme, so stay tuned to see what that looks like. But we're going to quickly run on into the loader tractor here. That is, well, miserable, but yeah. Let me just start this up. Topper's on the back there. It's nothing special. Very simple manufacturing technique and very simple cost to go with it, really. Picked this up used for just a couple of grand, actually, though, so can't complain at all. We will be using it when we get into the spring there, just to knock off some of the stalks on our grassland, give it a chance to regrow through with a bit more quality, and get some decent grass coming through. But we're also going to use it right about now to tackle the little plot that we're eventually going to turn into a full-scale fresh produce. So we've got a garden plot over here, really, and we've been speaking with the estate for a while about what we can do with it, and they've kindly agreed to let us just do our thing in terms of a little bit of like I say, organic produce. Obviously we have a lot of muck that's produced on the farm here, which is great, and we will be looking to leverage that where we can. And there's a few things that are growing through here already. Now, most of these are in various different stages. Some of them aren't just growing very well. Some of them are okay. You know, and we will be looking to see what that looks like. These, we're going to keep these A-frames in here, see how that materializes. Some of these are just weed bushes. That's some old sunflower seeds there. They can go because don't forget we've got about 4 acres of them over on that side of the woods for the birds. And then yeah, we're going to knock down some bushes here, widen this out, and we shall see. Now there's going to be a bit of a fence going up all around this plot as well. I'm not going to do that in the rain today, but we will get to it. Let's just get through here. So what I think we'll do is we're going to avoid any of the soil right now because it's wet, it's sticky, we're going to make a mess. We're just going to go around the outside and kind of clear up all of these bushes really and mow the grass down. And then we can get a little bit of a better idea. I think what we're looking into doing is a local hire center as well that has some smaller tractors. So we might just lease one of those for a weekend, get a rotavator on it and just kind of work over everything here, and should leave us in a much better place. But for right now, let's just get that speed there, lower her down, and perfect. We'll just tie this up a little bit better there, really. That's doing a better job. Actually, get a bit easier. Get this quite a bit of grass here, actually. What we'll do as well, I think we'll just lift this up. Knock the skate shut. Then we get all the way around. God, it's miserable out there today. So I hope you're doing very well wherever you are anyway. Do let us know what's keeping you going. Not much to report really today in terms of how we're getting along. We're just doing what we can. It is pretty manageable, really. Oh, those bushes don't want to go. Okay. We're, like I said, not much else to do. All of the field work's been done for now. Those weeds are taken under control a little bit there as well. So we're just kind of keeping ourselves going. Now was a great time for us to take the slurry tanker away because we're not using it. And we can get it ready for when we do need it this spring coming up. So we're just going to go over to here as well. What I think we might look to do here is actually kind of venture out a little bit more and use a bit more of the ground around here that we haven't used so far. Now it might take a little bit of leveling out. We do still have some stone from the yard project that we were working on not long ago. So that'll be fine. And if we need to, we'll definitely look at using some of that up. But yeah, all this space around here, we'll just have a little bit of a mark out. Move some things around as well when we're ready to. Because yeah, all this space I want to use, I want to leverage this where we can. Some weird dolphin-y type ornaments there. Because why wouldn't you have those in a National Trust garden? That makes no sense at all to me. Never mind. Okay, and through we go. So we're just going to tie this a little bit further. See how it looks when we're all finished. And then we're going to go out. Probably not going to do too much more here actually because it's just a wet mess. But we're going to go out very shortly. Then I'm going to show you when you're going to pick up the new to us slurry tanker improvements really, and we will show you what we've done, why we've done it, and run you through the cost breakdown as well. Good lord, is it wet out there still? It is relentless today. Okay, so we're gonna go for a bit of a drive. We're not going too far, not gonna take us too long to get there, but we're going over to our local machinery dealership where we dropped off the tanker, what would it have been, 2 days ago, maybe a bit more. We look like we're about to set there. Apparently there might be a few little adjustment issues that we need to figure out, which will take place when we've only got the tractor hooked up to it, but that's all good with me. And yeah, so I mentioned a while ago that we do have our slurry tanker. It's been great for us really. Lovely high spec. Nothing really to fault with it, but the manner in which and the methodology behind how we use it is changing, and it's changing for a couple of reasons, but one of the primary reasons has to do with the banning of splash plates coming in very shortly. So we're going for a dribble bar of sorts, and we've decided to go for one that we've been looking into local dealership supplies and supports the manufacturer there, and we were looking into various different options, and we're also looking into grant applications to help for funding for this, and we were successful in achieving one of these grants, so we've been able to invest in the farm, in the future of the farm, with very minimal upfront cost to myself, which is really just fantastic. Love it. So we started to do this about 2 weeks back, got everything ordered in there right pretty quickly, and we've got it all, well, hopefully now it's all hooked up to the back of the tanker. The tanker needed quite a few adjustments, and we're going to walk through what those look like and why we had to do them, and what it took to make it work. But I do think it's going to be for the better. Now we're going to be spreading around about the same width that we were already. There were some crazy big options which I just felt were far too big for what we needed, and also perhaps just a little bit unrealistic really in terms of the weight on the back end for this tractor to pull, and a few different issues like that. So yeah, we're gonna have a look. I'm gonna see what it looks like. I'm excited to see. I haven't seen any pictures of it in its final state yet, so it should be just out in the yard here for us to go and take a peek at. And yeah, there it is. Perfect. Okay, let's just pull on in. So a few of you will notice immediately the different changes there, and like I said, we have gone for a slightly different approach than I was initially perhaps thinking I was going to go for, but let's get ourselves hooked onto this anyway. Now it is raining, so I don't want to spend too much time outside. Let's just pull ourselves forward a little bit here. So like I say, we made the main adjustment, which is to the addition of this dribble bar on the back. Now we need to lift up. That's still good. I need to figure out how my hoses are connected here and how that works. However, we did have a splash plate on the back here. We've obviously gone for this dribble bar. It's 7 meters wide, 7.5 meters wide, give or take. So I think we actually lose about half a meter, which I'm fine with. But we didn't just go for a regular dribble bar. This has a set of discs on the front, which allows it to open up a slot in the grass or in the stubble field for the slurry to go straight on into. So it increases that accuracy even more, reduces the opportunity for any runoff if it rains, which is fantastic. So it's a little bit heavier on the back, I must say, but any splash plate you're going to go to is going to add weight over the back axle there, and that's something that we try to consider in when we're looking at different options. Like I mentioned there was quite a few adjustments required for the tanker, chiefly among which was adding a 3-point linkage really on the back. So we've got the top bar there, and then you've got your arms on the bottom there, all controlled through spool valves. There is a splitter at the front end which allows you to control which what function does what, because we only have a certain number of hydraulic functions in the tractor there. So, and spool valves are always going to be limited. So it's looking good. Somehow the color is almost a bob-on match, which is great. Because we've added this extra weight on the back there, and because it makes it a bit wider and taller, I even went and spec'd up the tanker to put some lights onto it. More lights for working lights as well, but beacon lights just to make it a little bit more obvious that we're traveling, because this is quite a big bit of kit here now. We might well look into putting some wider tires on. We'll see how we get on with it over time, see if it's a necessity to add those, but just to reduce the weight down. But yeah, that is our tractor. Small little things like putting a toolbox on here as well, because we're gonna have to carry a whole load of parts around. But what do you think? I think it looks pretty darn cool. I think it's gonna be a real nice addition to have. It's gonna allow us to comply with the regulations that do come in very soon, and we'll see. But everything is dialed in, everything's connected, and everything is looking wonderful. And yeah, nothing else has really changed at the front end here. Everything is exactly as it was. So what I've done is just lift them up there. I think we'll just pull forward ever so slightly so we can, I think everything's set up on the functionality now for the tanker. So we'll just switch that to the dribble bar, and then let's see if we can just lower everything down. Oh, there it goes. Wonderful. Let's have a quick walk around, see what that looks like. All right, perfect. So it will take a little bit used to play around with it to see how it works in terms of making sure we have enough downward pressure. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. One thing we're going to do is just fold that back up again, and then let's stick on some lights. Make sure everything's working. Lights seem to be all good. We got lights, and excellent. More working lights up the top there as well, and the hazard lights. Excellent stuff. Wonderful. Perfect. And let's get this back home. proper little tanking job here now. Like it. So let me know if you've had to do anything similar, what options you chose and which upgrades you made there. It was a decision that we didn't take lightly or indeed quickly. A lot to think about there, lots of different options and cost reviews, and then to apply for the grant and make sure it all comes through. So it did take its time, but yeah, really happy with how it went. So like I say, we're not going to have to use it for a while there, but we're going to be ready to jump at it when we do get to the spring. We're currently middle of November. It's wet, it's windy, and it's cold. Any cereal crops in the ground are probably going to be left as they are now until the spring, when they'll be getting attacked with nitrogen and they'll be getting a real good dose to get them going. So ultimately, there's not too much else that we can do. We'll be trying to, where we can, to inject any slurry into our stubble grounds before we plow those over. If that can help us out, then I'm all for it. As we all know, the rising costs of various artificial fertilizers are not great, so we want to try and avoid using those where possible. But ultimately, yeah, we will see. You join me in the Defender. We're going for a bit of a drive, really, as today's episode, well, it's all about updates, really. It's end of November, beginning of December as we record this, so it is a bit of a winter roundup. And yeah, we're just going to go for a bit of a drive through, checking on some of the fields there, see how they're looking, go through the next steps for some of them, put a bit of a plan together. There has been a bit of action over the last few weeks where we haven't been with you, so we're going to get to see that as well. Actually, it's going to be quite intriguing. Been putting a lot of work in around the farm there, and I'm quite pleased with how some of it's coming together. So there's a lot to show you there, and there's going to be some big exciting steps coming along very soon as well. But first, we're just coming through one of the roads through the estate here, and we're just going to cut back onto our land in a second here, and that'll show us what we're looking like for some of our winter drilled crops. Someone's left the gate open. That's wonderful. Okay, so we'll stop about here. We'll just shut that gate. I don't know who's been through there and done that, but what it does lead us to is our first field of contention now. You'll remember this was our sunflower crop here. We're leaving this in over the winter there for the winter grazing birds, just to keep chewing on and give them some feed there, which is great. This is our oilseed rape. We're trying a new approach to direct drilling in here. We did have a bit of a weed issue. Someone mentioned in the comments, glad to see that we are an organic farm. We're not quite there yet. We are in the process of turning fully organic, but there was a couple of weed issues that we just, on this field at least, that we're tackling first. So we're not quite there yet, but we will get there. That is our intention. It's not a bad looking crop. It's got away from the pigeons a little bit, and the slugs were very kind to us this year around. So yeah, ultimately I'm happy with that, and we should hopefully see that kick on in the new year. But yeah, for right now, it's looking pretty darn good. I'm very happy with it indeed. Plan for next year is we'll leave this be. This will get chopped off at some point, and we will look to I don't know, mulch that in or disc that in or something, and we should be looking good there. But yeah, not a bad looking crop there. Of course, this did have all sunflowers in as a part of a trial really for companion or for a breakup crop, and yeah, I was quite happy with how that turned out. Through here though, now we have a cover crop in here. This is our largest arable field that we have on our farm, at least at the moment. Yeah, this has got a cover crop in. This is predominantly all, well, it's a mixture of things really. It's oilseed radish. There's some broadleaf in there as well. There's a bit of vetch. There's some clover in places. If it does come through, it doesn't look like it's getting the height at the moment there, but there's a bit of oat in there as well. But yeah, the idea being that this is just going to provide a bit of cover over the soil, put a bit of nitrogen back into the soil, and when we come to work in there, all the leaves that you see here will provide a bit more organic matter to get diced into it as well. You can see that we are tipping muck here. We're going to be bringing another load of muck out here fairly soon, I'd imagine. As soon as we start to get a few frosty days, we're going to be coming along here with as much muck as we can. And then in the spring, this is only going to be here until about March, and in the springtime we're going to put a bit of lime on here as well. Work it all in, and we're going to be busy on this field. So there's a lot to do here, but it should be good. And this field hopefully won't need to have any man-made fertilizers on here. It can all be organic, and that's the hope at least. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm really pleased. This cover crop was direct drilled in again with our grass drill, and it looks good. That's allowed us not to have to use any heavy cultivation on here, which really reduces down the compaction, reduces down the fuel bill as well, which is something that you've got to be so very careful of right now. and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's looking very, very good actually, and I'm happy with it. So hopefully that will continue to do a great job. Because you're actually growing something on this field as well, it helps wonders with the water retention in the soil, so you don't get as much water running off, and any soil erosion is reduced as well, because it's those root structures in there are holding all of the soil in place and holding that water in there. So in theory, if you stop about here again, we'll just have a quick look. Curious to see how well this is working. Well, the ditches aren't too full of water. There's a bit of mud and sediment in there from previous attempts, I think. But what we want to see moving forward is that that's water, any new water coming into there out of the field drains is nice and clean. And that is what we're looking for. But anyway, let us just continue around the corner. Just like that. Fantastic. And we're away. So what we'll do is, yeah, we've got one more field down here that we're going to have a look into. 3 arable fields up at this end of the farm at the moment. We are looking into a few options. I'm looking into a few options to see if I can maybe lease another field. But at the moment, that's the lease prices that we're being offered out there are crazy. So we'll have to see. We only want maybe one more field. Any more than that, and then honestly, it could be a bit of a struggle. Our equipment's not the biggest in the world, so going any bigger would cause us a few issues in terms of just managing to do everything ourselves. But this is a field I'm particularly proud of. This is our winter barley in the ground, and it is looking magnificent. It's quite the carpet here, looking clean as well. We had a bit of a weed issue in here early on that we were able to get on top of. So look at that for a field of barley. Very, very happy with where that's at. And looking forward to being able to get a load of fertilizer on here in the spring and watching this kick on something incredible. That should be awesome to see. But yeah, again, from an arable perspective there, very happy with how everything went in the autumn, and hopefully come springtime there we'll get that last field in. That'll be looking good into a bit of spring barley, and we should be away. But yeah, that's the very furthest west we go in terms of our land. And it's all, yeah, it's looking very, very good. Very happy with it. And we have a grass field over this way as well. We did lift hay off of that this fall, or this summer, beg your pardon. And there's a few silage bales in there still that we are looking to get sold on. Waiting just to see who wants to come in for those. But they are just down here. And we'll have a speed on through. It looks like there was last year at least there wasn't too much grass around, so there should be an easy market for it. We didn't make too many extras, but more than we need anyway for now. And we've got a bit more grassland this time around, so we'll look to see what we can do. But there's our stockpile, and there's our little grass field as well. I've often thought about maybe plowing that field over so I had all the arable in one bunch, but I would need more grassland if I could do that. So, you know, always on the lookout to see what is out there, what we could benefit from, be it either arable or grassland. Of course, we made the pasture field, which actually what we're going to do right now is just sneak in through here, because I would want to show off an area. And again, get this gate shut. Someone's been through here, I think, with the dogs. Never shut the gates. Yeah, we'll just creep up this side here. No one will ever know. Yeah, you can hear, oh, there's some deer. You can hear a really strong dawn chorus around here as well. So there's a lot of birds in around here. So feasting off of that field there, off that little bit of wild bird feed plot there, is a great opportunity for them. It really, really is. Oh, sliding all over the place. Let's just get that gate shut. Lovely colours in here as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Now up we come. So in this area here is one of the areas that I've thought about putting in. You may recall from a few episodes ago we went to have a look at that old trailer that was going to be used for a bee hut, and I thought about putting it into here, and it may still go into there at some point. However, there is a better option on the horizon. This is our grass pasture field that we've kind of reclaimed, really. It was a bit wild. We've taken our time just to reseed it in places. Yeah, it's looking very good. There's a lot of grass around still at this time of year, actually. It's quite something. But yeah, what we'll do, we're just going to sneak through here, back towards the main yard. And I'll show you an area I've been working on really, and it needs a bit more work. But yeah, we'll get to it. I have no doubt about that. We're gonna switch this off. Now you may have seen in the last episode there, we were out and about. We were topping this area down. It's topped down. The grass has died off even further since we topped it down there. I did lower the top down and get another go over it just to really lower it down. Need to put a bit of a fence up there to stop the close off the tennis court. Tied up a few of the obstacles around here and got a few bits and pieces done, and then we got busy. We have 2 garden plots in here now, which is great. And I'm thinking about how I can actually build maybe a temporary hut to go over here with with some polythene over just to allow things to grow in the winter. This is gonna be my project for the next couple of weeks really. We've got these 2 boxes in here, or these 2 plots here, and I'm debating whether or not we stick another one in. We've got the space. Need to do something with this space. This might be where the bees come to. Now I'll probably have to try and keep them away from the tennis court. That's the only thing. So I don't know what that would look like, but yeah, we might stick it into the corner here somewhere. It would be great for whatever we decide to grow. I think one of these is going to be potatoes. Then I want to keep as much fresh produce going as we can here, and try and get a bit of a supply chain going with this. But yeah, that is the plan anyway. We did a little bit of grading around with the loader bucket as well, just to take out some of it. We got rid of some of the old A-frames that were here already. They weren't really doing too much, if I'm being honest. So it seemed like a good enough and appropriate enough time to get rid of them. And there we are. So that's been a really big change up really. There's a lot of work gone into this, and it's going to be a really significant step up. This is going to be all 100% organic. We do have obviously a load of muck coming from both of our cattle sheds, so we can manage to make that work, and we've got water supplies as well that we can plumb on in. We have our water bottles anyway that we have to use on the back of this to go and keep the pig troughs going, so water supply is never going to be an issue. And so yeah, that should be a really nice way to be a bit more self-sufficient, increase the diversity here without really a lot of significant costs there. We've actually made this fence and all of ourselves there. The boxes themselves in the middle took no time at all really, considering just a good productive week, and look at what we were able to do. So yeah, delighted with how it's come together. But yeah, polythene, canopy, something we can remove if we need to, or something we can keep up there would be superb. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of options in here. I've thought about maybe a little orchard as well, but I don't know how that's going to work, or you know, how long it would take to plant new trees in here and all that. But it's an option for sure. But let me know what else you think we should do. I personally think if we can get enough timber, that another box or another crate like that would be ideal. But yeah, it's a great opportunity for us, that's for sure. And I'm really pleased with how that's going along. The cattle. Beef cattle are doing well. You'll see they're starting to put a lot of muscle on now. They're really starting to beef up. For those of you who didn't know, we get these in as calves and we keep them up until they're about the age of 8 to 12 months, depending upon how their growth's coming along, and they're looking good for it. Really starting to build up there nicely. So yeah, can't argue with that. They haven't lost any conditioning either, and they're keeping the weight on over the winter. They will get out and about. We'll put them into this paddock here, and maybe now we even have the next step up is going to be this paddock here. This was the reseeded grass that you would have seen that a few weeks ago as well. Now we do have, like I mentioned there, we do have a fair bit of grassland around here, and if we can get silage off early enough, we might try and put one of these or maybe both of these into a larger second cut and get a hay crop off here, which would be fantastic if we can. And we'll be looking into possibilities such as maybe trying to lease some a wrapper or a sledge or something that we can use to accumulate our square bales faster, so we can get those stacked up out of the rain and keep them and sell them on when the time comes. We did really well selling off that trailer we had, but the numbers that we had, very small. We're only looking at about 200-300 bales there at the maximum each year, so it wasn't anywhere near that many this year. So if we can increase that, maybe look at with these 3 fields here and the field through there, we're probably looking at about 40 acres. So if we can get all those done, and then again if we can get the far field which has the bales in the moment there, well, that's now on 60 acres of hay. If we can get that all built up for the equine industry, again, that's gonna be a nice little addition. So lots to think about there really. We'll have to see, and that's certainly what I'm hoping to do. But yeah, we'll see what this next year brings and see how we pan out. trying to slowly move the farm across to organic there does take a bit of planning. You gotta be really quite conscious with how you do it all, because ultimately you have a finite amount of your organic fertilizers there. Your farm milled manure and your slurry don't last forever, so you have to just be a little bit careful with that. But that's something for our consideration for sure, and we will we'll dial on into that one when we can. And you join me today. Look at our greenhouses, they're ready to go. We've been very busy. It's been about 3 weeks since we're last with you. In that time, we've been able to, well, get this third one put up there, but we've also been able to kind of make a bit of a makeshift polytunnel, really. The wooden frame is easy to put up and assemble there, but it allows us to put this weatherproof covering over there, really. So, keeps the internal temperature in a bit more of a manageable condition, and keeps the elements today off of there, which is great. So now we're able to do a little bit more looking into a few bits and pieces here. We can actually get some seeds planted into here and look to get this going for us ahead of next year, next spring really, when we can really start to kick this off. What that means for us right now though is that a few things need to be moved around. We need to get some water into here. We need to get some muck into here as well, so we can get that work done into the beds. We also today need to do a little bit of cattle work. We need to feed the cattle this morning, so we need to get another load of rationing mixed up. So we're going to need to use the loader tractor quite a bit today, but today is going to be a bit different. I found out a perk of having a channel such as this, or an update, a weekly update here, is that certain tractor companies start to pay attention to that. And someone got in touch from Kubota and asked me if I would like to try one of their tractors of a similar size to our Massey fleet. So naturally I said yes. And here it is. This is the M6. A little bit dark. It doesn't look quite so good in the morning here under the grey skies, but there you go. Look at that brilliant orange. So this is in the middle of these two, really. It's about this model in particular is about the top end of the M6 here. This is a 140 horsepower. So it's obviously bigger than our loader tractor there, and not quite the same size as the main 5470. But we've got it for a week, and we're going to give it a go really, and just see what trouble we can get ourselves into with it. So what we're going to do, we're going to get on with it really this morning. We're going to use this to feed the loader wagon, see how it gets on with the feeder wagon there. Sorry, we need to get everything going there, and then we're going to move a bit of muck around with it as well. So lots to get going with really. Looking forward to seeing how well it does. And see if it has the differences really. Obviously age is a big factor there. It's overall just a bigger tractor. It's more the size of the 5470. But anyway, let's just get on with it, shall we? Now on the front of the loader tractor right now, do I have anything? No. Perfect. So my bucket over there, and my muck fork should be around here somewhere as well. Gonna need both of those. I believe it's here. Yes it is. So we're gonna come pick up that first. We'll get a few bales picked up, get this all looking ship shape, and we can get ourselves ready to go there. So yeah, we're looking very, very good. It was very kind of them to reach out about this. It's I haven't seen too many Kubotas in the area actually, so never have I ever really heard of anyone who's been using one or have any experience with one. But yeah, that's about to change today. Let's just get all of our lights on, which I think are down there. Wonderful. Up goes the loader there. It's a nice cab. It's a quiet cab. That's one thing I've noticed so far. Now let's see. I'm not in gear there at the moment, so I'm gonna go first, I think. All right, and off we go. So what we're gonna do, like I say, is just pick up the forks. We'll get that Fiat out in a moment there, and then get that ticking over as well. But I just want to be able to have a quick mosey around with this. Now, of course, one thing to consider at the moment with this is the cost of a new tractor is, well, prohibitive really. You know, it is astronomical these days. I could probably replace both of my machines second-hand for the cost of a new machine, but we'll worry about that later on. All right, excellent stuff. So what we're going to do, we will need a bit of straw eventually, so we might as well just grab this here whilst we're right in front of it and take this one with us. Now this tractor does have wheel weights on the back of it, on the back wheels there, just so it allows you and aids you when you're doing front loader work. And we have a similar sort of setup with our Massey. We do also have a rear weight for the 3-point linkage. But like I say, it is just generally a larger, heavier tractor, which should come into its own advantage there. What done there. I've not quite spiked myself properly, so we'll try and get it picked up where we can get around. There you go. Excellent. So we'll stop it right here for now. Let's just get this bit pulled around the corner a little bit. I also need to get it warmed through today. It is not a very pleasant day. Regardless though, the Fiat still starts first time around. Okay. We will put it onto a bit of an angle here. That'll do the job. So I hope you all do very well. Anyway, wherever you are, do let us know. Like I say, we've got this for a little while, this Kubota, so we're going to try it with a bit of everything. We're going to see how we can get along with it, really. I think it's the best way to describe it. We are empty there, as you can see, so we need to get a bit of everything put into here. We're not going to put the straw in first, typically. Always put that in last. So we'll start with a bale of hay, and we can also get a bale of silage into there as well. Let's see how it goes. I've won a few jobs I want to try and do with this. I want to go and move some silage bales around, so we'll see what it's like when it's pulling like a full load there. I also want to try and do a little bit of muck carting, that kind of thing. Oh, there's a weight right behind me there somewhere. I don't want to go too far into that one. But whilst we're here, let's just get that opened. It's not good for silage here actually. Very, very good. And then we're just a little bit tight for space here, so let's just lift that up. It is quite a nimble little tractor, like I say. Feels very light to steer, despite the fact that we've got most of the weight on the back end there. It still feels pretty heavy. Oh, we went a bit too light there at the end. Just like a little load of weight onto it here. Alright, bale number 1 is in. We'll let that work over in the Keenan. We'll go and grab a bale of hay. We're looking good. Not much else is happening here at the moment, to be honest. As you can see, it is cold. It's a bit miserable. Okay, I just need to get my... there you go, get my bearings in this. It's, yeah, like I said, there's not too much going on there. Next job up, like I say, we'll be focusing on the greenhouse there, and really that's just us keeping going until until we're out of the cold. Not going onto the fields anytime soon. They're just kind of a bit dormant now for the winter, which is what you'd come to expect. Okay. Yeah. Less than ideal way of going about this. However, there is a trailer in the way, which I don't really feel like moving right now, so we'll just spike this through over the wall. Take another one. Excellent stuff. So what we're going to do, like I say, we're going to just do a bit more shuffling around the yard with this. And then we're going to get stuck on into the greenhouse work a little bit more there. So we'll get this little load up there, and then we'll do something a little bit different and try and put this Kubota into some use. Alright, so feeding is almost done. We're just doing the last of it here. It's got a little bit lighter. It's still trying to snow. Fortunately for us, it's not settling, which is good. Yeah, it's still coming down. So we're going to do a little bit of front loader work. And what I think I might do, just to make it a little bit easier for us here, is perhaps just stick the weight on the back. We'll have to look in to see what that balance is like, really. But yeah, it's certainly something we'll do, just to see if there's any need for us to, you know, think about that balance in the future if we were to go down this line. But it poses an interesting question. I would like to see what the handle is like with a rear weight on there anyway. Yeah, we'll just keep pushing this back along here. About a couple of ton left in there now. But the cattle are getting their good feeding up there anyway. They're looking good for it. They do need a bit more straw in there, so the rest of that bale there is going to go straight on in. Alright. Perfect, so we'll leave that there. Okay, so like I say, we're going to stick this load of weight on the back. And then first thing we're going to do is just help out the... go and help out our... Probably need to help out our pigs actually as well. They're going to need a little bit more water, I think, in their troughs, or at least to check that the water's all looking good. And then we need to go and start to cart a bit of muck over to those greenhouses so we can get that all going. It's certainly a more comfortable tractor than the 5400 loader tractor that we have, but then it really should be. It is a rough calculation there, probably about 13 years younger. So you know, it's really what you would expect to see. So ultimately, it is very nice to be in here. Obviously, it's gonna have air conditioning and everything as well when you need it for the winter. Okay. Like I said, we're just gonna stick that weight on the back now. We might not need it, but it never hurts. Also, when you look at the back there, you do have to reach over a little bit to see everything in terms of your pickup hitch. You can just make out the 3-point link arms there. And then what I want to show you, which I can't quite show you from here, so we'll just pull forward ever so slightly. You've got your spool valves on the back there, which are also coloured. So you've got green and you've got blue, and in here you've got green and blue and then brown. I do believe, and you have to play around with those, I do believe they're for pressure flow. You can play around with them there, which is pretty cool. Everything in here is, you've got manual spool valves on here, your electronic draft control though, which is well, pretty handy. Have a play around with that electronic PTO switch as well. And then you've got your manual, or your buttons, sorry, for your raising and lowering of the rear implements. There is an option to have this spec'd out with a front linkage. Obviously it hasn't come with that, we've got a weight on the front, which is fine enough with me. But it would possibly be something that we'd have to have a look at there. But anyway, let's just, we'll start at least by, I think, just moving a bit of muck around, doing a bit more loader work with this. If we absolutely need to, we could probably even look to get a little bit of a muck cart going as well. Actually, that'd be a good test for it. Ground's pretty hard, so we can still get onto the last arable field that's not drilled yet. And then we're looking good, but there's plenty of muck in here to go at, that's for sure. And let's see how that, see how we get on with that. Okay. Much like the Massey forward reverse control is on the shuttle here, which does make it very easy to work. I have my auxiliary third function on the loader joystick, and the joystick itself is in a nice position. It's not too far away. It doesn't take too much manhandling or reaching to operate there, which is ideal, because if you're doing a full day of loader work, I know you might be shifting bales or something. If it's too far out of the way, you start to feel it by the end of the day. You know, we're looking like we're in a great place there. Okay, we're just going to dump a load of muck out the front of each of these, and then at some point in the next few days we'll get in and start to move this in. Lovely visibility out the back as well. Really do like this an awful lot. Oh, he does it. I think what we might do actually is, because it's getting a little full, we might even look to just take a little bit of a load away actually, and see how we get on the road. The gear box on this particular tractor is a 3-speed. And the brief time I've been in it, it's the low range is a very slow range. Oh, I didn't quite get my gear 6 or all that. Just didn't quite change through. I've got to be a bit careful with how that works. It's not good. But the low range is very, very slow. It's quite something. Okay, what we will do, I think, just because I want to bring you along for the ride for all this really, and it's nice to see a new machine out here, and so with thanks to you folks watching my videos here that we actually get to have a play around with this. So I think we'll get a trailer loaded up at some point this morning, and then we're going to take it all away as well. So we're just going to continue with this anyway, and we'll see how we get on. All right, so we've moved on. We've filled up the Marston trailer, and we're going for a bit of a spin. Getting used to the load now, getting used to the shuttle control as well. It's quite handy to do after a while. It's got a bit of power in it as well when you are pushing into the heap there. I do like that. Again, a little bit more power, but you'd expect it to have a lot more than my current loader tractor because it is just a bigger machine. So that is all well and good. A lot faster response on the loader. You start to really recognize that after a while as well. Again, a larger hydraulic pump on the front there, which is why that all kind of does make sense. But what's interesting is, like I say, this loader control, we're in high range there at the moment, or the gearbox, sorry. So there's 3 ranges: high range, medium range, and low range. All makes sense. And inside each range there are about 7 different gears. So when we come down into medium, that we're in there, like, just so much slower gears there. And then you've got on the joystick itself, you've got the little press buttons that you can go up through on the gear lever, sorry. So right now we're in 7th in medium, so you should expect it to be pretty nippy, but it's what are we doing there? The speedometer says we're doing just about 10, and then only really you've got to then go back up into high and click down a few gears, and then it races past 10. We're in 12, 13, 14, 15. It doesn't quite seem like the sequence is there. Now, that might be me not quite used to it, and of course I am used to the T-stick for the Massey. But yeah, it does seem to be a little bit different. Maybe it's something that you need to adjust to over time. But yeah, it does seem, when you are in high at least, it does seem to pull very, very well. It's a smooth change up through as well. It's not like it's jerking every time you hit the buttons. Out the way, doggo. Oh, death as a post, that dog. Must be. It's pulling this. This is a heavy load of muck behind it. There's a wet load there, and it's not even feeling it. It's great. Really, really impressive. Have a bit more of a play around with what's going on in the little display down there. Looks like it's showing us a few of the same things that we have dead ahead, but that's okay. Like I was saying, winter drill crops there aren't doing too much really at the moment there. That's fine. They're just gonna be themselves out of the way for now. It certainly pulls up a hill better than our loader tractor does. That does really grind to a halt. All the way at the 33, 34, 35k with a full load buck on the back. It barely even knows it's there. We'll change down the gear, see what that does. Not in anything, made it worse. Those bales are going to be sold maybe tomorrow or the next day, depending upon when they get back to me. That's handy. Might have a few weeds coming back through here. We might have to get on top of that. Seems to be maybe that we missed somewhere with the sprayer. There's a slight possibility of that. But anyway, yeah, we're going to tip this off. And then, yeah, there's not much else that we're going to be doing today. Shifting a bit more muck around here and there, and just carting the water trailer around. You go on top of the pig's troughs there, I think. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to bring you out and about in this as we use it a bit more thoroughly over the course of the next few days. Like I say, we've got it for a week anyway, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, let me know what you think of it. If you like this, let me know. I'll be really intrigued to know. So far, so good for me at least. We'll continue to use it there and see how we get on with it, of course. But yeah, I do really like this quite a lot. We're just going to go and tip this over there. Actually, some of that winter barley that's looking tremendous. Looking very, very good. wintering very well, I would say. And this is the cover crop field here, of course. We touched on this one when we were establishing this, and then we got a bit of muck in the corner of it as well. And that we're going to continue to add to, really, hopefully, so we can get as much done as possible. And try and cover this whole field there when we'll likely try and mulch this in some way. I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet. And then we'll spread the muck on top of it so we can try and incorporate it all in together. That'll be handy. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Tenant Farmer. My name, as always, is David. I hope you're doing very well. You join me. We're in the 5400 loader tractor today as we are hauling some water. We are only about a mile away from the estate, not even really. But we're taking some water back on over so we can continue to fill up our water troughs. Spent about an hour or so on this morning. And we're going to take this one last load over. This is going to be for the pig trough. And then from there we're done. This should be about it. Now today we're going to do a little bit of a comparison, really, to show you what I like with the Kubota that we still have here. We're going to be out in that very shortly. So I want to show you what I like about that, and also a few areas that I like about the Massey more. So we're going to see, but it's going to be fun. We're going to go for a bit of a road trip with the Kubota on the trailer. So yeah, we're going to get I've had about a week or so just doing various different bits and pieces with both machines, really. Obviously, I know this Massey very, very well. And it is nice to kind of see what the modern day equivalent would be, really. Obviously, the Kubota benefits in a lot of ways because it is so much younger and has so many nice features that you'd expect to see on a brand new tractor. But you know, it's this Massey still has its charms. We'll just come back through and we'll shut this gate. As you can see, it's a very frosty, crisp morning. Which is good. Makes traveling on ground nice and easy. But yeah, it is super cold and there's not too much else happening, really, but we're making our own progress. We're doing okay, and it's been a good week for that, really, so I'm very happy with that. We've finally managed to sell off that silage, which is over in the far grass field, so we're going to haul a bit of that away today. We're going to use the Kubota because we will have to go up one hill, which we have known for some time that the Massey just does not like going up. So this is going to be a great test to see just how well the Kubota can pull up the hill. So we shall see. But yeah, first things first, a bit more water into the trough for the pigs, and then they should be good. We have to go back through the estate. All right. So I hope everything is going very well wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Do let us know down below. And I always love to see how everyone's cracking along. We've been doing a little bit more work with the garden, got a few things sown into there now, so hopefully we should see that starting to take a bit of a hold and take effect soon. But I'm not expecting anything too soon there whilst the temperatures are still so low. The ground is probably going to remain quite dormant for the next little while. But we will see. Oh, it's a little slow. This is one area this Massey does not do well, and that is hills. But anyway, in we come. And we'll crack along. Aside from that, the farm is looking pretty good. I know, speaking to SFTN, I know he recently put up a documentary as to how the farm was originally built. So if you're wondering and you have any questions about that, do go and check that one out, and it should provide all the answers. There, of course, is the Kubota. We will be taking that out soon. And we'll see. But we are going to go through past the farm now. Now, we actually took the polytunnel covers down because we were working it in there so much. So we will be putting those back up when we're ready to. Okay, and we've obviously got all these silage bales here along with the ones down there. So we have more than enough bales here for what we need, which is why we're selling off that far stack. And just to get that out of the way. Okay. And through we go. And yeah, we're just gonna head on over to there, over to the trough, check in on the pigs, make sure they're doing well. We obviously we feed them daily. They do still like to scavenge around in the ground there and take up any of the roots that they can. That being said, times like this when the ground is a little bit harder there, they don't perhaps get as much joy as they'd like to, so that we do see the rations increase ever so slightly during these times. The grass that we seeded here, obviously it's been kind of pared back a little bit by the colder temperatures, but it's still looking rather good. The plan is going to be that this field's going to get baled for small square bales again, and we are looking into a few methods that we can use to facilitate that, and perhaps even increase our output with that. So we'll have to see. But yeah, it's something on the horizon anyway. Out the way, piggies, we're coming. Let's just take ourselves down here a little bit. Okay, so we will... They've got a little bit of water in here, still hasn't frozen over, but we'll give them another trailer load just to keep that topped up. And we'll see how we get going. Alright, so as you can see though, the pigs are all looking very well conditioned actually, so we're putting on a lot of weight there, which is good. And yeah, they still got lots to eat in this grass, so you can see where they've been quite selective in what they've picked off so far there. Pigs are very interesting like that. They will continue to pick and choose. They will come back and eat the rest of this grass, but they're working their way around getting all the better stuff first, and it's interesting how they do that. But yeah, they're all very healthy actually. They've got their nice warm styles to be in when it is getting a bit, the weather's a little bit suspect, but I'm very, very pleased with how they are coming along, keeping warm. Alright, so I feel like this is just a massive marathon gates closing session, but anyway, we're good. Not too concerned about driving across the field here. The ground's so darn hard at the moment. It's fine. So we should be good. This gate we can actually probably just keep open. We'll shut the next one over. I'm still toying with the idea of what to do with this little pasture. I don't know how. I mean, we can probably mow this a little bit down for hay. It's not too big, but I want to try and get as much hay ground as I can. Now, we're probably not going to be in the position to acquire any new ground. That might be a bit of a push. Maybe we can find... I haven't really seen any that's available for lease at the moment either. And at this stage of the year, you want to be getting on that sooner rather than later. Any arable ground is obviously usually being acquired way before this because they'll be putting winter crops in. But I don't really need arable ground. I just want to find some good grassland. So that's something we'll be looking into. However, around the corner we go. We're just going to stick this right next to where the Kubota is, because I want to, like I say, I want to just do a little bit of a comparison here, really, and see which one I prefer. That one does. That Kubota does look good on that trailer, though. Okay, so we're just going to stick this down, nose into there. Don't take your time with this trailer, otherwise it will escape you. There you go. I'll about do it. Perfect. Well, okay, so we've had this for about a week or so, like I say. We've been using it for across the board, really doing a lot of different things, using it to fill the diet feeder up there and shifting bales around. And in the winter there, typically that's all you're going to be using it for. That's all that this loader tractor is used for anyway, and a little bit of road work here and there, but no great stretches. So we've only really been able to compare it against an average day, really, which is pretty much perfect for what we need. A couple of things that really stand out to me that I've enjoyed more than on the older Massey. First of all, if we just look at the from the physical side of things, it's a bit heavier. It feels a lot more stable when you're lifting bales, especially some of these round bales are a little bit bigger, and especially the silage bales are a lot heavier. So I can lift and move two of those around with ease. When you get them a little bit higher on the old Massey there, you do start to feel it a little bit, and it is becoming a little bit top heavy. So that has to be a bit of a concern. That's something you have to always have at the forefront of your mind there and adjust accordingly. With the Kubota, less so. Additionally as well, it has a faster hydraulic pump on it, so the loader arm does move faster, even when you got bales on there. If you want to lift them up to stack them somewhere, for example, you can do that a lot easier, I found, and a bit of a higher reach on it as well. As you can see, very compact loader on the quickie loader on our tractor over the Kubota loader there. The downside, it is a bit bigger. And I know I just said that was a positive, but shunting around in the yard is a little bit trickier there. It is, it does feel nice and light on the front end, but it is still a larger tractor, so you do have to put extra cuts in. The turn circle is definitely a lot better on the Massey than it is on the Kubota there, so that's something I definitely noticed. And you start to notice after a while, especially if you're using it to feed fill the mixer wagon. You do start to notice that extra length there after a little bit, and it's certainly quite a lot. I did find that the tires are a lot grippier as well, bigger, wider tires as well. Does mean you get that extra stability, but extra traction. If you ever get onto softer ground there, you have a lot more ease to get out of it. And we'll start up. Obviously, creature comforts inside here. This is a lot more modern there. I think we're looking about 15 years, the junior to the Massey there. So naturally, the visibility is significantly better. Larger windows there. We're into a 4-post cab rather than over there you've got your 6-post really. So it's just a lot easier to see out of one huge big pane of glass on the side for the door there, which really gives you some cracking visibility, and which I do very much like. More comfortable to be in, more ergonomic really as well in terms of where all of your spool valves and all your switches are. I found there the Massey's not bad by any stretch there, but just the small little things that you do notice. And yeah, really did like that an awful lot. It's a cleaner, just a tidier cab to be in, but again, I think that just comes with age really. It's quieter as well, again, probably coming down to age, but it just is a very smooth cab to be in. A lot of the controls are very similar in terms of how they've been laid out there, because I really think that the 5400 series was the beginning of having ergonomics in mind when you're inside the tractor cab, so certainly thought that was something. But yeah, we're going to take this for a bit of a ride. Like I say, we're going to head on over to our silage field in the distance, and then yeah, we'll start loading the trailer over there and see how we get on. So let's just head on out. We need some gears, and we need to be we're in medium there. Okay, and we'll just take ourselves away nice and slowly. Now, one thing I have noticed is this particular model here does come with the more manual gearbox. You got the 3 ranges, and then the 7 gears in that range are on the button. Now, what I found, we're in 7th here in medium, and what I found is there's not too much of a difference between low range and medium range. But then when you get on into the gap into the high range, there is quite something. I'm going to just let this stop here, and we're actually going to go down to medium. And we're kind of doing about 5 miles an hour-ish, and then we go into medium there, and we get up to about 10 at the top speed, which I suppose is quite something, but it feels like it's awfully slow in both these ranges. Now we're just going to knock this down a bit, go down the gear, and then go into the high range, and we're away. Suddenly it's just a rocket ship. If you're floating around in the yard there, I found that I was actually doing a lot of the work, because the forward reverse shuttle is so good. I found I was doing a lot of my loader work in high range, and like kind of 1 to 3 gears, so it's quite interesting. I do find that it's a very smooth transition through the gears as well. As you click on the button there, you don't feel any jerks or any sudden changes. There's a nice smooth change up through, and then before you know it, we're in top gear there. So yeah, it's very interesting for sure. Stick a few lights on as well. Took a little bit getting used to the difference between the forward and reverse splitter, but then that's usually the case when you move from one tractor brand to another. But yeah, otherwise it's been great. I've really enjoyed getting used to it all. And it just kind of hums along a bit more when it is in when we are in top gear on the road there. We want to load this up with bales and just see how it gets on when we take it for a drive. We're gonna go up that same hill to sell these, so I know what that's been like in the past. So at least I have an idea. Okay. And again, we're choosing the time to come into here when it is nice and hard under the foot. Quite a lot of grass in here. It's mainly all just stalks right now because of the because it is winter. But that being said, it's good to know it's still here. What we'll do. Haven't really had to use the 3-point linkage for too much on the back. Not really that time of year for it, but then again, if we were ever going to replace the loader tractor, it's not my main concern. Main concern is always how is the handle loaded and what is it like when you you know, to tow trailers around. That's mainly where this will get used. Now I must say this tractor is a little bit bigger in terms of horsepower raise. This is around the 140 horsepower, so it's closer to the 5470 that we actually have. And alright, so we're going to get this all loaded up here, and then we'll probably take long for a ride. It's going to take me a little bit of time to do anyway, but I just wanted to stop here for a second and just kind of show you that you know, that it just seems to be a little bit more of a well-balanced machine. Yes, we've got the heavier wheel weights on the back here, but I always think that's going to be a better option to have when you are using the tractor as a loader tractor anyway. I think that's really good. Despite the fact that the one good thing that the Massey has is, of course, it is a drop nose, so your visibility out the front is a lot better. The sides are always a little bit better on these newer tractors anyway. But that being said, the main thing I want to try here now is what this is like pulling. So we're going to get this all loaded up here. Stick, well, no, maybe you go for about 10 on here, so we'll see how we're looking, and then we'll take it for a spin. Alright, and then ladies and gentlemen, we are all strapped up, ready to go. I had a bit of an accident, and then I ripped the bale open here. So we're going to leave that one here. We're going to come back and collect it ourselves and just put that straight into the feeder. Yeah, these things happen. I'll get used to it today. It's no hardship. Right, offwards we go. So we're not going too far from here. What we do need to do though is just take our time to eke on out. And away we go. It already seems like it's gunning through. We're in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th again. Smoothly through the range. The speed just builds there. We're not revving the nuts off this thing either, but it's comfortable. Is the way I think I'd describe it there. Very comfortable. Now, of course, the big test will be what will happen as we get up into this little hill up here. But I've got every confidence. Not the best I can see. There you go. So yeah, it's actually going to be quite a sharp little turn up here. We need to be a little careful with this. Okay, let's just take our time. Ooh, it's always a worry. It's good. It's rocked back over the other way though. Hey, there you go. Oh, it's just cruising up the hill. I can even change up a gear. With 14-ish K, I think that is now. And it's flying up. This last little hill bit here is always the kicker, really. It always grinds out any speed that you had. We'll change down before we get into it. We're at 8 still. At this point, the Massey there is grinding to about 1 or 2. Oh, it's happening. We're down into the medium range now. And look at it, it's still climbing up there. I love this gearbox on this thing. Oh, it just took that with ease. Didn't even struggle. And away we go. We changed up into the top range, as you can probably hear. And nailed it, really. Quite a heavy load in the back there. We have got 11 bales. Or 11 bales silage. The largest bales that we can able to wrap there. 1.5 meters, I believe. Yeah, that's gone very well. And we're away. Look at the beautiful day in the mows here as well. Absolutely awesome. Really, really nice to see. And just like that, folks, we're through. We're heading on down to drop these off, where there'll be a bit of a bale merchant down here who buys and sells bales, so we're able to get him to buy our silage bales off of us, which is great, and it's not too far away from us. We've got this Kubota for another few days, so let me know if there's anything you'd like to see us do. You know, always intrigued to know if there's any tasks out there that you think you'd like to see a hire tractor go through. And also, if you're watching out there and you happen to be working for a different dealership with a different tractor in, and you want us to have a look at it, let us know. We'll be happy to do a little bit of a comparison. We're up there, we're up. Good stuff. Awesome. Well, in that case then, I think what we are going to do is swing this around here. Up. And we're going to see where our man is with the telehandler, to see where they're going to unload all this to. It's January, which means we are in the new year, which means still nice and slow going here on the farm. We are just going to feed up everything today. We've got another load of, well, about less than half a load now of total mixed ration left. And look what is in front of us. A beautiful crimson red stealth machine. And we're going to get onto that in just a moment there, because that is the latest, I want to say, perk of being a farmer whose progress and farm and business is all being published on YouTube at the moment. That is another demonstrator. Now, you may recall, end of last year there, we actually demoed the Kubota, which was the M6, I believe, a cracking lot machine. It did us very well, very nice to have a go. And then Valtra got in touch with us through our local dealer, and they've given that for a week. So we are slowly thinking about the idea of upgrading the Massey. When that will happen, I don't know. There's no set date on that at all. But we'll just have a look what's out there. Now, we probably won't go for something new when that time does come around, because it's just too expensive. But you know, if the option is there to have a play on them and see what they're looking like, then that's always something you're going to take up. And yeah, it's nice to have that opportunity to have a dabble. Hoping that we can get something green to have a play with at some point. That'd be pretty sweet, but you know, we'll see. We're not going to desperately ask around or anything, but yeah, we'll just keep an eye on it. We're just putting the last little bit of ration into there. Excellent stuff there, all done. Now today, we'll just let that all slow down and then it's done. We've got a few things to do today. We're going to be out in this in just a little while, actually, but not straight away. We'll have a look around it anyway at the moment. You can see it's a fairly straightforward back end there. Nice. It's smaller and also lighter than the Kubota was. A much smaller turn circle there. Shorter chassis length as well. Inside, you do still get the good visibility. Really nice to have there. Now, this is the simpler version of the dashboard, I've been told. The other one has like a big computer stick and a computer screen there and all electronic spools. But we do have the manual spool valves there, which, to be honest, I don't mind. In its current iteration, I'm fine with that. And we make it work anyway. So yeah, we will have a play around with this, and we'll show you everything it has and all the features as we get going with it. We're going to use it to lug some bales around later on, because we did that earlier on with the Kubota. But first things first, we're going to go out in this Massey in just a moment. But what we'll do first is let that warm through. Hasn't actually started yet today, so it's good to get it, give it a bit of a tick on. So we'll leave that to do its thing. And then we'll look over here. We have had produce growing. It's been miraculous to see, and it's coming through. It's looking great. We have taken the polytunnels off just for today. It's starting to warm up a little bit, but it's all loaded up, ready to go. So this is the first of our produce. We're going to take this away today and see what we get for it. Not expecting much, but it is a start. Look at that potatoes flying along, absolutely flying. So we'll keep an eye on that. There are tomatoes in here, and then we've got a little bit of lettuce over here. So it's all going great guns, and we'll just see how that continues. But we're going to take that load away today, and then What we'll also be doing is moving a few trailers and tractors around after that, just to kind of get ourselves all caught up to date. But yeah, that is going to be the first step. So we'll just jump on in. The Massey hasn't been used too much late, which is why we're just leaving it for a minute or two to tick through. It's going to be getting a lot more usage soon, because it won't be too long until we're thinking about the spring drilling, and then there'll also be a little bit of weed in there as we look to try and continue to progress down the organic route there. We just need to get ourselves in the right place for that, so we'll see what that looks like when the time comes. But for right now, we'll just take a nice gentle stroll and go. We're not going too far away at all, but it'd be nice to use this anyway. It's been great weather so far. We had a little bit of snow, well, quite a lot of snow that hung around for about a week back end of December, but it didn't do too much damage there. Kind of insulated everything a little bit, and that's been all good. Making sure that everything here has enough water, enough fertilizer. We're using the muck from the beef cattle for fertilizer. Seems to be working well. Wonderful stuff. Alright, so let's just get some beacons on here. Okay, we're in B, and we'll go. A little bit tight getting out of here, but we'll just take our time. Excellent stuff. Might just need to spin it around a little bit more there. There you go, nailed it. And off we go. So I hope everyone is keeping well. Let us know what you're getting up to. As always, there, like I say, there's not too much happening. Our main focus, as always, through the winter months, is keeping the stock happy, doing any bits of maintenance around the yard, like the stonework here, and repairing a few fences. Nothing too major or critical. It's a bit cold for just a t-shirt. And yeah, we're just cracking on, really. We'll see in about another month or so. We'll be getting back out doing a little bit of grass work. The grass that we have here at the moment is a bit stalky. It's obviously winter, so it hasn't really grown too much. So that's probably gonna get cut down at some point, just topped off, so that we can bring it back up again. Okay, and away we go. We'll also be looking to try and get a mulcher at some point as well. If the winter bird seeds is doing well, but there's not a lot left on there, and at some point we'll have to look into mulching that down, but it can stay around for a little bit longer. We have a lot of muck to spread on the field with the cover crop in at the moment, so the plan being that we will top that off or mulch that in, spread some muck on top of it, maybe a bit of lime as well if we can get a hold of some, and then we'll look to get that worked in again. So lots to do there. Not quite sure how I'm going to work it in on top of the mulch ground. That might require a bit of a disc work over. We might not be able to direct drill quite so easy on there, but we'll have to see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, looking to try and decide and figure out if I'm going to do that myself, or if it will be getting the help of a bigger contractor to come in with some big, like 12-18 ton muck spreaders and a wheel loader. But that's a conversation for probably another month's time. Meanwhile, like I say, it's just doing little bits and pieces. Everything is ticking along nicely. We serviced this tractor over the last week. We ordered a few bits and pieces for the loader tractor there, and speaking to dealers around what they can do in terms of prices for current tractors really that they have, and feeling that the more that we move into some of the bigger bales of hay, the more that 54 is starting to get slightly overpowered in terms of, well, over muscled really. The weight's not quite there. Now I just need to find where I'm going with all this lot. I think it might be around the side of potatoes we got rid of there already. Not going to find out the full cost of what we're going to get yet. I'll have to wait for the invoice to come through for that. With that being said, I think we'll do okay. It's nice to be able to start to sell things, that's for sure. Anyway, make a bit more money back from what was a fairly simple setup project, I must admit. And we'll see what we need to get rid of here. And just like that, we're done. Nice and easy, not too far to go. I think we might do alright. Bear in mind there wasn't a full trailer load there by any stretch, but we'll see. We'll see what the check looks like when it comes back through, and we'll be away. Hopefully, I'd love to see that we can get some slightly fuller trailers over the next couple of weeks with that, but we're just still finding our feet with this. Very much testing the waters out, see where it goes. But anyway, back to we're not going to go directly back to the yard. We're actually going to go and drop this trailer off over at where the last of the silage bales are, and then we're going to load those up with the Valtra. The Valtra has a weight on the back of it because, like I mentioned, it's not quite as big as the Kubota, so it's a little lighter, a little bit more compact, which does have its features and benefits around our yard in particular. But we're just going to hold off for that for now. So I will take this over and then drop the trailer off for now, load those last remaining silage bales on with the Valtra, and then we'll see. We might take one or maybe one over from the yard as well, just because we're running. I don't think there's quite enough over there, but we'll see. We've still got plenty left for our own use. We've got a bit of a plan in place as well as to what it's going to look like for us to expand the amount of grassland that we're cutting, because as I mentioned there, we are looking to do a fair bit of hay this year coming, so if we can, that'll be perfect. Alright, through we go. So we're going to take this straight up. We'll go through the fields now because I've come back through the yard. But anyway, we're going to drop this bale and this trailer off. And then we'll get that Valtra and come back and have a bit of a play with that. So as you can see, it's a cracking day here. There's even quite a bit of grass growing in our hay meadow here. Again, we might just knock that back in the next month or so, just so it can start to really grow through properly, because it's quite stalky. There's no value there to it at all, really. It won't make good hay, but we'll look into that one. Let's get this shut. We don't need that open now. There you go, and off we go. Anyway, we'll just shut this one as well, and we can go to the other side. So yeah, the Valtra, only used it for a few little bits and pieces thus far. I quite like it. Like I say, it's getting some used to getting used to with how the controls are working here. Let's just lift that up though. One thing I would say is the loader brackets are quite high, so it is quite, given that you have, the whole purpose of the tractor is that you have a lower bonnet, lower nose, you get a better visibility. The brackets there do lift up quite a lot, so it does block a fair bit. It's quiet. You get a great view out the roof though when you are loading bales. That is good. Light on the steering wheel. You don't really feel it from the time I've been using it to load bales, but at least you don't really feel the weight on the front axle, which is good. And yeah, this is a little bit smaller than it's kind of in the middle between. Well, it's not really. It's closer to the size of the Kubota, but I think it's about 130 horsepower. This one, the Kubota was about 145 or something. But yeah, it's nice. It has a variable transmission in it, with various different modes as well, so you can have it set to a mode you can toggle through, or you can use it on like pedal mode really if you like, which works quite nicely. And let's just get ourselves out of here. No separate loader joystick, which is something I don't like. I like to have a separate control. It's a bit of a negative for this one, I would say, but it is always good to have a different separate unit. The ergonomics are nice for this, don't get me wrong, but I do feel like I missed that. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna give it its fair dues. We're gonna give it a bit of a time, doing all sorts of different jobs there really over the course of the next few days. It's very smooth on the road, even smoother than that Kubota for sure. It feels like there's less to do over here, less levers sticking out there. Gear changes are all, like I say, a lot more seamless and smooth. Manual spool valves is never a bad thing. Call me a bit old-fashioned there, but I like to have them in there. That's always fun. There's our direct drilled oilseed rape crop, which isn't looking too bad. Those weeds that came through have all been tamed, so that's good. The winter barley at the far side is looking very good as well, actually. We'll probably be looking to try and give that a bit of a kick soon. It's the one field that we won't have into organic at the moment. Alright. And then we come, we'll just load this up. Like I say, do you have quite a large amount of grass available to us at the moment? Just looking through, see what those options look like and how much we'll need and how much we can be prepared to give away or even sell. Don't really want to give any away. Ooh, so you can see we tried to pick up 2 bales there, and I think we're off the ground. So we're going to be down to 1, which is a bit frustrating. But never mind, there's the one that I burst open. I think that's left in the hedge now at this rate. We've got 1 though. There you go, that's not too bad. At least we can pick up 1. And we'll just get this all loaded up, and then really off we go again. This is the last load that needs to go away to the merchants, and then hopefully that's it. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's how we're going to keep going. If you have a voucher or have any experience with them, do let me know how you get on. Very intrigued to see. I do have a bit of trouble changing with the shuttle from time to time. There you go. But yeah, it's so far so good. Any tips or tricks that you do have, let me know. And we'll see what we can get this put towards and get what use we can get out of it. But for right now, all we're going to be doing is a little bit of simple load work, really. So we will get this all loaded up. You've seen me take this trip 1,000 times before. And then we'll get cracking. And look, we're in a blue tractor this time around. The demonstrators keep on coming. Today, courtesy of our local New Holland dealer. This is, I believe it's a T6125 or thereabouts. Maybe 155, I'll have to have a look. But it's big. It's a lot bigger than the other tractors. It feels just a lot bigger. But we're gonna have a go. It's about the same size horsepower as the Valtra. And yeah, we'll see what it looks like for us, really, how much we can get done with it. We just come back from carting another load of produce away from the greenhouses. We're gonna go and take this back. We're gonna drop off the trailer, and then we've got a bit of field work to do today, actually, which I'm looking forward to. There's a lot to do. We've been talking about it for a while, and we're gonna get stuck on into it now, which would be fantastic to see. So lots happening, really, and yeah, so far I don't mind this bit of New Holland blue. It's not too bad at all. We're still trying a whole load of everything, really. We're seeing what we're looking at and talking to dealers about what options they have. Do they have used machines of a fairly youngish age, you know, and what the cost would look like for upgrading there. Obviously now we'd have to trade in our if we were to get rid of our loader tractor, we'd have to be trading that in to pick up a new one, use that as a deposit towards a new one there, and then, you know, we're looking at the financing on the back of that. So it's something that we'll continue to look at for sure, and this is a great opportunity to do it. So we've also actually been doing a bit of hiring and a bit of borrowing of all sorts today. We've hired a muck spreader, which is on the back of my big Massey, and then we've been borrowing a tool from a local neighbor as well, a new bit of kit to him, really, there, which is looking pretty good. We're just going to stick this trailer here right now for a bit of simplicity. Let's just leave you about here. There you go. Yeah, it is a 125. Perfect. I do believe this is a 6-cylinder. It's a slightly bigger chassis than the G series that we were looking at there. Similar to the Kubota. It's a little bit more, I want to say a little bit more agile than the Kubota that we tried. But it's not doing too bad. And yeah, we're just going to try and put some to use. We're going to actually use this to do a little bit of muck carting or loading of muck, and we'll see how we get on. But what I need to do first of all is just come into here. I have my nephew driving my loader tractor for me today, and why he's done that, just left the, I asked him to take the bucket off, but why he kept it there, I don't know. But we'll see. We're going to pick this up, and then what we'll do is we're going to take the first load of muck from our store here. And then we're gonna go up to the field, and we'll start up there, and then come back and get the New Holland as well, I think. There you go. But okay, so plenty of muck to spread, plenty of field to spread it on as well. We haven't been able to get any lime in time, so we might have to come back and do that in the summer, or before we put any winter cropping in. Obviously, we'll see how that goes, but that could be the next step there for sure. But now a bit of organic fertilizer on here is always a good start. Okay, and we're just gonna spin it around into this Abbey spreader. It's not the biggest spreader ever. You could get a rear discharge one, but it's big enough for what we're doing. We're only doing the one field, so it makes it's more than adequate. Perfect. Excellent. And again, with most of the loader tractors we've been demoing, great visibility, panoramic rooftop there as well. Lots of good viewing angles as we get through here. Do like we don't have the fifth pillar in there, so just a 4-pillar cab, nice and visible. Large doors though. That's one thing I'm always curious about with a loader tractor there. But we'll have to see how that goes. I like this tractor. The dashboard here seems to be a little bit more simplistic there. Everything's like all the buttons are down here, and then obviously we've got this big display. It's a little, this is obviously one that the more top of the range, which is great, but then it's a little, I'm not sure if I want that big window there when I'm, or that big display there when I am in a loader tractor, but maybe that's the way all new machines are going these days. And we'll have to see. Loader's very responsive on this though, I must say. Oh, there's a good look. Try not to run over that grate there. That could cause bad news. We did get the rest of that bale silent sold off there as well, which brought in a little bit of money, and we're starting to see some really good profit from the greenhouses, which are good considering that was just a lot of hard work and spare lumber, really. All of which means that we have our initial payment sorted out for there's new bit of equipment that we're going to be buying. So we'll see. We'll hopefully get hold of that before. Well, we need to get hold of it before we start to do too much grass work. But yeah, that will be a project for later on down the line, and we'll see what it looks like in terms of which tractor loader combination we'll have to go with it. But again, we're not pushing for anything just yet. It's nice to have 3 different loaders or dealerships in the area. We've tried the Voucher, we've tried New Holland now, and of course Kubota. Kubota kind of kick-started it all off really for us here. And yeah, I'm open to suggestions. Now, the next nearest really, we do have Massey, of course, and we'll see what that looks like. But after that, John Deere, there's nothing really in the immediate area for us. A lot of the bigger farms around here don't use them because of that exact reason. You know, one of the main things you need to look for is always going to be your dealership support. So we just don't have that. So yeah, we'll have to see. Now, what I think we'll do is just stick this load in, and then we'll go empty it. There's not a full load there, but it's a good start. We'll go and see how we get on there. We'll go and check in on nephew, see how the youth is doing, and then get a bit of muck spread behind them. Lovely colour scheme on the loader here as well, I must say. I do like that an awful lot. But yeah, tidy little tractor, that one. Extra wheel weights on the back of it for the loader work. It's spec'd out for this, so looking good. Our Massey's starting to get a bit of work here, which is fantastic. Good to see. Mist not been on here recently, and we will get ourselves away. We're going to take the road. Go over to our field on the road, less traveled of course, and then we'll see how we get on. This should be pretty good. Left the youth to his own devices. I got him set up there this morning. He's actually, well, I'll show you what he's doing when we get over there, but he is doing a nice little simple bit of prep work for us, so it should be good. We're borrowing a set of rollers really from a neighbor, new to him I think, is what I'm led to believe, and they seem to be working very well. So and I'll tell you more about that when we get over to where we need to be. So as you'll see, all the bales have gone, and we're surging up the hill. We're going to go up to the track along the top there. So we're out in the field that we drilled the cover crop into last year, and it is, given that we're getting close to drilling time, we're in early February now. So what the plan is to take advantage of the frost that we've had here. We're currently just crimping and mulching over that cover crop. We're putting a bit of muck on at the same time so that we can eventually let that all rot in together to give a nice new layer of organic matter on the surface, and then we'll give the quick tickle over with something before we come to drill it in the spring, and that would be the plan. But to do that, we needed to get a a roller or something that would crimp over this cover crop, and we found one from a neighbor. So he picked up a rather new looking set actually. It's looking very, very good, and it is a Dalbo roller, and all that's doing really, as you can start to see as we get closer, it's just snapping over the cover crop really. Underneath it was direct drilled into the stubble, so we've still got the stubble there from last year. And yeah, like I say, all it's doing is taking advantage of the frost as well, because it's made the cover crops just a little bit more brittle, and it should hopefully be doing a stellar job of just smashing it over and making it that little bit more easy to digest and to break down, to decompose. And as you can see, we did the first couple of headlands together, and then let my nephew take over there, because we just need to get as much of this done whilst the weather is good, whilst we can travel easily. So that's exactly what we're doing. It's still a bit frozen, a bit of frost on the ground there, which makes this an ideal time to do it. He's out in my loader tractor. It's getting some work done, work in on it. It's just pulling a roller along, so it's fine. But we'll have a look, see how he's getting on anyway. And then my muck keeper's over there somewhere, and that's what we're going to be looking into and trying to get cracking along with. So we'll just wait for him to get a little bit closer here. All right, so whilst waiting, I got my GPS roughly set up, I think, and we're just going to make a start. But yeah, as you can see, it's smashing it all over there, bending it all over and killing off the crop there, so that all of this green fodder can just get worked on in. And he's able to actually cook it along there, which is rather good. And look at the difference. And then we're going to, like I say, put this muck on top of it, and then this can just start to rot away, get a little bit of heat into the surface there as the ground temperature warms up. And then I'm not sure quite how we'll do it, because we're trying to reduce down the amount of disturbance on these fields, but we'll try and just work that in a little bit. Maybe with just, by the time you come to drill it, maybe just with a tine harrow or something might be good enough just to work that over, and we shall see. But yeah, it's coming along, looking very, very nice indeed. Now on to the, well, I guess the fun bit really. Let's see how we get going with this. GPS should be set up there. I think everything else is looking as good as it's gonna be. There you go. Let's just see which line it decides to pick here. Are we squaring up? We are. And then let's just put that down there. Not a full load, so we can do that. That's fine. And away we go. Still trying to figure itself out there. Get on over. Well, a little bit of a complication there to start with. I think I wanted to choose a different line, but the GPS line is working now. A little bit rusty with the old system there, but we're going. And boy, how are we going. Look at that spreader fly. Getting a little fairly decent coverage there. Looks like it's coming down nice and fine actually. It's been rotting away in that heap there for a while as well, because we just couldn't travel onto the ground here as much as I would hope. So I would say that's coming through quite nicely indeed. It's going to take quite a while to get this field done. Fortunately, when the youth is finished there, he can jump on into one of these machines, probably into this one after driving the New Holland, I reckon, and we'll see. We're gonna, when this is empty, the spread is empty, we're just going to continue here and work down through that heap and try and get that side of the field done, I reckon. And that is the plan, to see how we get on, and we should hopefully see this all looking good. I'm curious to see how the New Holland will handle just pushing into a muck heap. That's where we want to, kind of where we want to try it with the loader work today. And we'll see. Turn off my lights there. And yeah, we'll try it out, a few different bits and pieces here, and I'm looking forward to see how this field works out really. A lot of thought and time gone into it, so it'll be very, very interesting to see how this impacts the ground moving forward. We will be putting spring barley into here, and hopefully we'll get a good window to establish it in the early spring. All right, so let's just stop there, see if how it's coming down. I'm very happy with that indeed, actually. It's looking very, very good. I've still got a bit left in there, so it's coming out quite fine. Should hopefully rot in there quite nicely. So I think what we'll do is we'll just take a little bit of a pass up here actually. And we're away again. Fantastic stuff. Good day for it. Beautiful day out there, actually. Looking fantastic. It really does look golden. So hopefully that can continue as well. And we'll see. We'll just see how we get through today. We should know, looking at how we're booking along there, maybe another couple of hours will get that rolling done. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. The one thing I'm curious to see how we can impact here is the weed control, is to see exactly what that looks like in terms of our ability to actually harness that. Because ideally we're going to try and transfer away from putting any herbicides, pesticides onto here. So that's going to be the big challenge. But a challenge that should be good nonetheless. There's still a good bit of steam coming off here, which is good. Shows that this has been heating up nicely there. And yeah, we'll just continue to slowly work our way in on this block here. And I think we should be looking really... I'm actually really surprised how far this is one load's getting us here. That fills me with a bit more confidence. And we actually rented this muck spreader from our local grain co-op, which is not too far away. They do a few things like this in vacuum tankers. Obviously we don't need one of those, but it allows us to not have to splash out on our own, or even you know, maybe let's just try and get away from that water stream, actually put too far over towards that. And yeah, like I say, it just allows us to be able to focus on what we need to here. Put those investments into the right areas. Okay, I'm just gonna square this end up here, and then we'll go and fill up. All right then. So I will go and park this up. We'll go and bring over the new Holland, and then we'll have a second blast at this, I think, and see how we get on. But busy day ahead of us to get through all this heap. Quite a large amount stacked up here, actually. So let's get cracking. Now we're just gonna scoot this one through the pasture field here, I think. Just have a bit of a drive through. Everything's looking good in here anyway. This will be like I think I mentioned in the past, this will be one of our hay pastures for the upcoming summer. Be interesting to see how that looks with a bit of we've had one passing of fertilizer on here, so stick another one there. Be interesting to see what that looks like. Throughout the course of the winter here, our wild bird feed plot did great guns for the local inhabitants, so that's been fantastic. I think we will just beetle up the side of it now, actually. And let's go big. As you can see, still a few seeds hanging around there. That will be topped down eventually, but for right now it's still doing us really, really well. So I'm happy with how that's done. We might look to keep it in there actually next year and see how it's going. But yeah, that has been a raging success. This is a smooth cab, actually. Air seat, air suspension on the cab there as well. I am currently horsed along about 33k, I think that is. Feels like child's play. No, absolutely love it. Awesome. All right. And let's just go and get it started, I think. So what we will look to do as well, we've already we took soil samples from this field last summer. What we'll probably look to do, just for my own interest, is to take some again at the end of this summer once we've harvested this field there, and just see what the difference is in the nutritional content with this process, with the organic matter, with the cover crop there, just to see how it's worked out, and the reduction of man-made fertilizers that we're having to stick into it, because I think that will be really interesting to see. So we'll have a bit of a dive in with that. Okay, so quite a bit of heap to go out here. We'll just have to keep chugging through it all. My depth perception isn't quite right here, really. I think that's something I've noticed. Different type of loader, different size of tractor as well. So that's one thing that's taken a little bit of time to really dial in on. But I guess we can get used to that over time. And also our joystick for our loader controls is this little one here. It's got a nice little ergonomic rest on it. It doesn't feel quite as heavy as some of the other ones that we've used, mainly the Kubota one there, or indeed my own Massey loader, but it does a grand job nonetheless. You can obviously also, if you took the front loader off there, that can just be the spool valves for the front linkage. There you go. All right, and we will get this filled up, and then away we go again. Really, we'll probably come back and show you the other half of this as we're finishing it off. Maybe you'll see a bit of tail end of this in the next video, and we'll try to find something else to do with this New Holland. Load of work though, seems pretty handy, pretty swift, pretty powerful. It's only 125 horsepower, so it's a little bigger than the my loader tractor. That's probably around about the size we want. Whether or not we want to go this big of a machine, because around my yard that might be a little bit too big, but it's something to think about anyway. There is a slightly smaller version that we could always look into should we need to, and we'll see where that goes and what that looks like. Let me know your thoughts on this New Holland, the T6125 there, and all the other tractors that we've tried so far, and we will see where this journey takes us. For right now, it's going to take us to the back end of this muck heap, and we'll keep going. Until next time though, I hope you have enjoyed. If you haven't yet to do so, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I am David, your Tenant Farmer, and that over there is the youth in the Massey, and we're cracking along. It looks like we've got another load to go and spread. So on this beautifully crisp spring morning, we're going to do just that. And you join me, we're in the 5470 today. We are putting a bit of fertilizer down. And as many of you will know, we're trying to turn our grassland into organic grassland, with a longer goal of turning the whole farm into an organic farm. We're not there yet, which is why we're still putting a bit of nitrogen down here. This is of course our winter oilseed rape, which was direct drilled into stubble. So we're trying to change a few of our practices around all over the shop really, and we'll see how it goes. So we're out early in the morning because it's late February now. The ground is still hard underfoot, and it's affording us the opportunity there to get out and about. Now it does look like we have just run out there, so we have to go back. We've got another demo tractor there, which you may have already seen, and that is parked up in the shed at the moment there with a couple of bags of fertilizer in the back. So we're going to get ourselves in, make sure we can get this adjusted and refilled, and then we will finish this field off nice and quickly there. We're also looking to start getting a bit of work done on our grassland as well. A little bit of flat lifting on some of that to do. So we might well stick the new class onto that today and see how we get it on, because it'll be nice just to have a bit of a dabble with that and see. Lots to do really. Essentially we just want to start to, before we come in with another load of slurry or even a bit of box muck that we still have, we might look just to give the ground a bit of a flat lift through there, make sure it's all looking good so we can kick on from there. So lots to look at anyway. It's been a productive couple of weeks since we last spoke, and we've had a few different tractors on demonstration as well. Right now we've got a class which we're going to have a look at in a moment there, which will be tractor number 5, I do believe. We had a case in between now and then which we haven't really looked at, but not too dissimilar really from the New Holland that you see just recently. So it's interesting. There's a lot of different options there for us, a lot to consider, but right now we're just trying to get through everything and make sure that we can get a fair representation, a fair idea. No, nothing set in stone yet, but we'll see, of course. And it's just nice to see what's on the market there. The costs of them all are pretty ridiculous. I do have an idea of which way I'm leaning, but that's predominantly the moment. Ooh, dog, move. Based off of what's available really, and if there's any good deals out there for any good X demos or anything like that. So we've got a few of those in mind, so we'll see. Now we're going to just go as far as we've already got one of our fields done. The field of winter barley has been done. We're going to check in with this field of oilseed rape now, get that done, and that is pretty much going to be us for right now. We haven't started to drill the field that we were spreading muck in last time you were with us. We will get to that, but we need to we're just waiting really until it gets a little bit warmer in which to do so. Easy does it. Tight around here, but we're through. Okay, we'll stop it about there, I reckon. That should do it. This is our old spinner, not the biggest by any stretch there, but it does what we need it to do easily, especially when you consider that, you know, moving forward, we're probably not going to do too much more on the grassland either. So this is our 640, or this is 610 Arian, beg your pardon. This has been a tractor that a lot of people have said, you need to give this a go, you need to try it. So we're here, we're having a go with it. So far so good, we've got it for another couple of days. I don't know if I really need the front linkage on there as well, but we shall see. Also new to us, we traded in our trailer for this guy, because we're going to be hauling a lot more produce around of late. So this one is going to be a little bit easier for us to move pallets around with as and when we need to. So that was my thinking there. So yeah, we're sticking a little bit of 34% nitrogen onto our fields here. The oilseed rape really needs a bit more of a kick now. It did a great start, had a really good winter, but yeah, we just need to really get that kicking on. So as the weather starts to improve, it'll have everything it needs to really see it through. So we should be good there. Let's just try and lift it up, give us a little bit more space. We load number 2, and like I say, once we get that load spread, we might well look to use the class here with the with our flat lift there as well. No, this is not all going to go into here. These bags are, it's about 1.5 ton-ish capacity, and we've got 2 ton bags there, so we've got a little bit left over in each, which is fine. We'll just leave that there, maybe come back to that. What I'm starting to think about as well is if we are going to go with a tractor of this size with a front loader on there as well, you know, at what point do we not need 2 tractors? Because these are quite sizable, the machines that we're looking at, for what I would need at least anyway, so it's certainly something you'd have to consider. But anyway, that is very much going to be a decision for later on, once we've gone through and crunched the numbers. I would like to keep this tractor. This is a good land tractor for us actually. It does need a little bit of a touch up of paint in places in the workshop there, which we'll try and get to before we do too much work with it. Okay, and I think, yeah, we'll just crack on back out this way. And away we go. Beautiful morning, nice and dry. We did have snow earlier in the month for about 3 or 4 days in the middle of the month there. It is the end of February, like I say, so we're starting to see those conditions warm up ever so slightly there and get into a much better place. Anyone coming? Nope. Away we go. Perfect. And we're off. The polytunnel's doing a fantastic job, or the gardens as they are really. I've seen a lot more produce being collected there. We're going to have to look into maybe getting another load away soon, but it's a good problem to have. Let's take our time over here. There you go. And off we go. Let me know what you guys are doing as well at the moment there, and which tractor of the ones we've seen so far you think you'd prefer for us to take. We're going to do a bit more of a detailed look into this, of course, as we really drill into the various different options that we've seen. If we look through it now, we've had the Kubota in. That was the first one that we looked at there. We've also had a New Holland. We've got a case. Well, we had a case in, and of course got the class now as well. So a few different options there for sure. And the Vulture as well. The Vulture was the second one. That was quite a tidy one. But lots of different options for us to look into. Some of these that we do have are a little bit too big for what we need. But then again, these are just the models that they have available. Yet to get a Massey. We're looking into seeing what Massey options we can have a play with. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, I want to go into third. We'll go third C. Pick up from here. Go. Wonderful stuff. So like I say, we had to come in here and had to tackle a bit of a brome like weeds, which we got rid of. And it's, despite the amount of residue on the floor, we never really saw too much in terms of slugs either, so that was looking good. And it's coming through very, very well actually. Hopefully that will really, now that the temperatures are warming up there and we get a bit of feed into the ground, hopefully we'll see that this really strides on and looks really good. It'd be great if we can avoid having to go through with heavy duty cultivations. That can really change the output for what we're going to do here on the farm. Really, we don't need to go for a bigger, heavier tractor. You know, whenever the time may come for this one to be replaced, if that is indeed a thing, I don't want to be looking at something that's like 180 plus horsepower and something that we can have to look into heavier ground. It's just not worth it for the amount of ground that we have. So if we can do that, we will we'll see what that looks like for sure. But yeah, lots to consider there for the next little while. And this is a nice little demonstration, really, a nice little trial of what is possible. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the results look like. We'll show you the field. We didn't quite have enough muck, unfortunately, to finish the entirety of the field off there, but a good 95% of it has been covered. Apart from that little dog leg in the corner, really, but that's looking good. It's been down the ground now for it's probably best part of 2 weeks, so it's the worms will be getting after it already, and it'll be looking really good. What I hope to see is that it will we should just be able to run our chain harrow over the top of it, just to kind of really disturb it one last time there, get it worked in, and then it'll be ready for direct drilling if everything goes well. We do have our drill. I am very tempted to get rid of our drill because it is a combination drill, because it does require a little bit of a different practice there. It would be nice if we could change that out for something that we can drill directly with. The cost implications of that, of course, when you're only drilling, well, what have we got in? About 85 acres this year, all in. It's not really worth it. We'll have to see. Again, conversations to be had. Around we go. Okay, looking good. We're away. Shouldn't take us too much longer to get this field done, actually. With a couple of passes left there. What we'll do is we'll get this all done. We are, like I say, not taking too much longer. This is the last field that we'll be doing for the day there, and then we're going to have a bit of a look at the ground at the top to show you what that looks like with all of the muck spread on it, and then we can take it from there. Really, after that, really, there's we're going to start with some grass work. Yeah, what have we got now? 2 passes left, really, and we're golden. Just into the fullest stretches of the field. This little wild bird seed plot here has been a huge success, so we might look just to get that mulched in at some point and then get that re-drilled, actually, with more sunflowers, and just to leave it for the birds in the winter. On the last pass, I hope we're getting very low down there. I hope we've got enough in here to do this last little bit. There's a little bit back in the bags at the farm, but I don't particularly want to come back for we'll be getting close on 50 yards. So we're still going. I think we should be good. This spinner has been remarkably good for us, actually. We picked up for next to nothing years ago, because we're out. Just let's say that there's probably a little stretch we have to come back to there, unfortunately. But we will take care of that, and then we should be looking good. But yeah, really, really good spreader for us, actually. Very, very happy with it. Again, owes us nothing, that kind of thing. So what we'll do, before we head on back over there, we'll just get this all finished off, and then we should be looking good. But let's have a quick look into here, shall we? I just want to show you what this looks like, really. Show you the how the ground's looking now. We've got everything cleared out, and what our next steps will be. So let's stop there. As you can see, everything is cleared through. Looking remarkably level, actually worked down. There's that little top bit in the corner, that little dog leg that we couldn't get to, which I'm fine with. This should work over quite nicely. We just need to give it a tickle over with our harrow, I think, before we do anything else. Just incorporate a little bit more there. But yeah, that's looking very good. We'll leave that now for probably another few weeks so it warms up a little bit more before we look to get some spring barley put into there. And that should be good. So what we're going to do is we'll get this bit finished off here. We'll come back, and then we're going to have a bit of a play with the class, I think. That should be good. Always want to make sure you give everything a bit of a wash down after you've been spreading fertilizer there, because that is really some corrosive stuff there. So we'll just finish this off. And then this will be good to go for next application, really. Depending upon how we get on there, we might need to put some more fertilizer down in the spring, but we'll just see. We should be good, I think. But anyway, handy. Let's just leave this over there. Now what I want to do, I've tried to give every tractor that we're demoing a little bit of a fair run out with something other than just loader work, really. This is like a bigger tractor than some of the other ones that we've been looking into, and I want to give it a bit of a go on some flat lifting. So over here, this is one of our grass fields, our organic grass fields that we will be baling into hay, and we'll be looking to, the plan is that we're going to try and sell as much of it to the equine industry as possible. So to do that though, we do need to give it a bit of a work over, and then that will allow us to, it's going to just lift that compaction out of the ground and allow us to really improve the soil conditions. And then we're going to put a bit of slurry onto here, maybe a bit of box muck as well. Still plenty of time for it to work in. We've got a dribble bar that we'll have to get used to using as well there, so that should be good fun. But we're going to need this out of here really. So have a bit of a blast. Now it's like I said, it's probably too big. It's probably on the verge of being a little bit too heavy as well, and that's going to undermine the whole purpose of the the flat lifting, because ultimately we're trying to get rid of compaction there, so it's going to be adding more to it before we come in and remove the existing compaction in the ground. But we'll see. We're just going to work our way through here, pick up that topper first, move that out of the way. We have a little bit of grassland that we're probably going to have to come in with the topper soon and just look to knock the tops off. It's a bit stalky, it's all dead grass over the winter. So we'll come in to do that just to kind of revitalize it all and get it regrowing again, because we do need it to really start. We'll just get this picked up first. Just one side of it. And yeah, looking forward to getting a good run with the with our dribble bar, that's for sure. Let's just stick this down here. Fine. And then what I'm thinking as well is once we'll give that muck a little bit longer just to really bed in, we can tickle over it with this. That should be good enough just to work it and scratch it into the surface a little bit more and help those worms out. We don't really want to do anything too drastic after that, because we want to leave that soil structure. We want to leave it all in place. And then yeah, next up is to see if we can maybe look into a better direct drill, see if it's not too expensive out there than our combination drill. And we shall see. Now with this, very straightforward here, we're just going to run it through around about the 4 or 5 inches under the surface. And then it will crack through that pan there, especially where it's been paddled down. If it's been in fields where the cattle have been in before, it'll break through that, but then it leaves very little disturbance on the top, which is what we want to see really. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And we'll just go straight into this field here and give it a bit of a whirl. And through we go. So we'll see. Let's go and start us off at the top. I just have to have a bit of play around with everything that's going on here. Like all the newer tractors there, it's very difficult to get used to the controls. They're all slightly different, but also along the same kind of theme. Not having an actual joystick for the loader and having to use, in this case, the little black joystick there is quite something. You get used to it in the end, but it's a bit different, obviously. Okay, there is of course the old sheep pen in here, but we will get past that. Okay, let's see how that looks. I think we have GPS in here ready to go as well, so I'll have to have a play around with that, make sure I'm looking good. Alright, that looks like it should be okie dokie. Yeah, it's a big tractor, this one. They used to do a 460 area, and we don't have any of those nearby us apparently, according to the dealer, to get hold of one. That would have been a better size. Personally, I think that would have been a great one to have, so we'll have to keep an eye out to see if that will be a possibility, because this just seems to be a little bit too big for my needs. But anyway, let's get on with it. It pulls like a train though, good lord. Don't go that quick. Want to go a bit steady there, otherwise it does get overdo the purpose of this. And so yeah, that field over there will be for hay as well. The newly reclaimed meadow will be for hay, and then we'll see how else. It also depends on how it comes through and when we're trying to cut it and the weather, but yeah, that's the plan. And see how much we can make, because yeah, I want to try and, it's all about diversifying that revenue stream, so hopefully we'll do okay with it. But alright, seems to be going well. Doesn't seem to be bothered by this in any way, shape or form, which is cool. And yeah, I think what we'll do is just keep pushing through really, and try and play around with the GPS, get that set up so we can make this as efficient as possible, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, this is the plan really. Like I say, do let me know which tractor of the ones that we've demoed so far you think is the best there, which one you'd like to see us maintain, and if possible, which one you'd recommend for us to look to purchase as well. A long way to go, a few more that we're going to try though. I'll let you know how that all looks, but for right now we're going to keep cracking along. But we're not going back to the yard straight away. There is one surprise for us waiting there, but today at the beginning of March we have an even bigger surprise. We are going to go and have a look at it right about now. This has been something that we've been working on for a while with the local estate where we currently lease our ground off of, and it's something that's going to be, well, could well be quite impressive for us really. It's going to really expand what we're able to do and everything that we're looking into doing with it as well there. So it's it first came around just towards the end of last year. It was a project that the estate were working on, and they wanted to know if I would have any interest in taking on a new lease, and well, I do. We are, and it's right in here. So let's go and have a look. So all this area around here is to be rewilded really. I think trees and hedges and things like that going into there. But over here is what we're more interested in. We're going to go have a drive through here. There's a lot of reclaimed land in here, and this is going to be quite crucial for a new bit of diversification that we're looking into. And I have mentioned quite often in the past there that we are looking to get a little bit more grassland for hay, and particularly we're going to be looking into organic grassland, which is exactly what this is now. It hasn't had any fertilizers on here for the last 3 years, and we're looking to continue that process. We are going to be baling this for hay, particularly horse hay, equine hay. So we're going to be getting this ready to go. There's a few different fields in here as well. Have a look through. Everything's been newly fenced. You can see there's a lot of tree replantation going on around here as well, which is great, and allowing just a lot of diversification to come back into here in terms of the wildlife as well, which is what we want to see, and which is what I really had to pitch about, so I could actually be the successful candidate here. So now it does help that my ground is just there, but it's always nice to have a lot more. And all this ground here, we've got a bit of slurry that we're going to put on today to try and really boost this along here, and that's going to allow us to see just what we can get back from this field really, or these fields. We've already had all the soil sampling done. Everything is looking good on that perspective, but we just need to pay a bit of attention to these fields to get them going. There is one field that was stubble, well, there's stubble that was oats I think last year, way over there. That's going to be hopefully spring barley this season, and we'll see what that looks like there. This fence has been put in and it's a bit narrow in places, but we can still get ourselves in. It's a small little track there, but I think that works really for what we're looking at. A bit bumpy as always, but we've got a Land Rover, and it takes us up this lovely little barn at the top as well, which means that we have plenty of places in which to store our own hay, which is good. So we don't necessarily have to take it back to our yard. We have space to store our yard, of course, but we've got even more now, which is great. So with that being said, let's just spin ourselves around here and have a bit of a wander in. Lot of flattening here from when they were going through doing all the post knocking work. That's fine. We're gonna, like I say, get as much slurry on some of these grass fields as we can. There's the far field, you can see that stubble. There's this big grass field here, and then there's two more there as well. So it's a fair size. I think this all in all comes up to around about 75 acres, which is great. So it really does boost our capacity, or boost our acreage on the farm by about a third, which is awesome. And it's going to allow us to kick on a little bit and hopefully see a little bit more diversification coming in, and allow us to really get some traction going here in these times. So we will be fertilizing these fields with slurry and box muck. Obviously the grass is getting a little bit long to put muck onto at the moment, so we are going to put slurry on there and hope that's going to be okay. It is early March as we speak, so there's plenty of time for it to really absorb in before we bring out the mowers there, which is great. But the next issue that we have is that we need to think about this demo situation that we've been going through, and there is a new demo tractor at the yard there for us to have a play around with. And Massey Ferguson, of course I was going to have a dabble with a Massey. They brought something to my attention, and it is a curveball, frankly, and it may not have been such a curveball if we didn't have this land here already, but we do, and so it's a different question for us to look into and answer. So we will go back to the yard. We'll have a look at what's parked up there, discuss why it's a curveball and what that might look like for our next decision, and yeah, from there we could decide what our next steps are going to be for today. Like I say, slurry tank is already hooked up, ready to go. This is going to be tight to get in and out of with a tanker. I know that much for sure. I might have to speak to them about that, because there's no other way into that field. However, we will just tootle on home. And yeah, let's have a look at what's going on over there and see what we're going to do next. All right, we're going to just park the Land Rover slightly out of the way because we're going to be in and out of here quite a bit. We took a load of produce away this morning as well. Garden's coming along very well still, which is fantastic to see. It really, really is. And now it's getting warmer, which is great news, which means that the polytunnel will be able to be kept off for a while. And we should start to see even more production there, or one would hope that we do at the very least. So look forward to seeing that. Anyway, back into the yard. So you all know that we have recently released or demoed a voucher. We've demoed a new Holland. We demoed a Kubota, among other things as well. And we had a case recently that we didn't get the video, unfortunately. And today, well, today we are looking at Massey Ferguson. Of course we're going to, because we've got two Masseys of our own on the yard here. Spoke to my dealer, and well, look what he sent me. This is interesting, and I'll tell you why it's interesting. One, the flashing lights are on. I have a bit of an issue with leaving those on all the time. That's definitely a me thing, not the tractor thing. It's a lot bigger than anything we have. This is, as you can see, a 67. Can't quite see, but it's there. 6714. So it's a bigger tractor. It's bigger and significantly bigger and heavier than our current loader tractor there. And it's also a lot bigger in terms of horsepower. I think this is about 140 horsepower. So it's what's that going to be? About a 67 no, or 50 or 60 horsepower increase from our current loader tractor there. Now the reason why this is making me think a bit, we've increased our land capacity and output by quite a large amount. We are going to be doing a lot more loader work. There's a plan, there's a new bit of equipment arriving next week that we are going to have to be using a lot of, and it's going to require us to do a lot more loader work as well. And because of that, I'm wondering if, rather than looking for a tractor that can essentially just replace this, how much bigger do we need to go? So this is an option. There was a discussion around looking at a 5S, but we just, I was tempted by this first, and we'll see. This might be too big, and we may well look to take another punt at the 5S there. But for now, we're going to give this a go. We have a 6M quickie loader on there, so it's a size up from the loader that we use. But still a lovely loader. Absolutely adore these things. And then we've got a slurry tanker that we're going to go and fill up there. And this is going to be the first time for us using the dribble bar as well. I do believe we've got GPS fitted in here as well, so it's all singing, all dancing. And it'll allow us to, if we're doing a lot of work, especially when it gets into harvest there, we can still use the 5470 for some of the heavier cultivation work as well, but this will take a little bit of the strain off of there. So this is where my thoughts are at the moment. So, with that being said, we're all hooked up. We'll get ourselves on into the cab, and let's get this fired up. Okay, so, like I say, GPS is on here. We'll have a play around with that very shortly when we're in the field. What I do need to do is load up. It's much bigger than what we're used to. It's a lot faster. The loader, again, like all these other new tractors that we've been playing with, so much faster. Now, it is going to be a little bit bigger around these yards, and that's the one thing we have to consider and want to test today is, you know, how does it handle going around these yards when we're stacking bales or loading the feeder wagon? It's the one test that I'm intrigued by, so we'll have to see how that works out. Now, what we do need to do, we've got a lot of slurry to shift around today. So we'll start by kicking this into the slurry lagoon down there. And we'll see. We'll probably have to, as we move around here, shift the loader around and shift it up and down so we can get a bit more space in there. But, you know, it's all good. But yeah, very intrigued by this. This is currently, obviously, as I mentioned this, and clearly this is a demonstrator, but we were told that if we were looking into this option, I could actually buy this off this tractor, this very tractor, the demo tractor with a few hours on the clock there. We could look at buying, which would do wonders for the for the actual price of it as well. Before we do anything, let's kick that up. So there is that. We'd obviously still be trading in the current loader tractor as well. But yeah, it just means there's a lot more for us to think about, really. Now, do I have to move that or can I get around? I think we could be good. I think we're there. Okay. Smashing. Alright, so we are filling up there nicely. It's a tick over mode, really. Our current tractors have to have a few revs on the clock to get them to do this, but we are just ticking along very nicely indeed. We'll get this filled up there. And it looks like we're good. And now we will just slowly take ourselves out there, have a bit of a cruise down to the field, see if we can get in as it is, and get some start. Otherwise, we'll have to go and take some fencing gear down there at some point today and make that a little bit more accessible. But I think we should be okay. The idea is that, like I say, it is March now. If we can get a cut of hay off there by, and weather dependent of course, in late June, July, we laughing. And then if we can put a bit of slurry back on there and get some cut of silage off there to sell, I wouldn't be against that either. So that would be my current preferences. Yeah, very nice, very smooth, very quiet tractor. Bigger, it feels a lot in the same kind of realm as the T6 there, because really I think it's a bit of a competitor there, really, and it's a it just feels like a bigger tractor, really. In terms of other dealers that we're going to be trying, we're not going to be going for any of the green apart from the class, really, because of just location of dealers. They're miles away to me, so that's not going to make much sense, to be honest with you. I do value my dealer support, so that's something we're going to be looking towards working with. So we'll probably be staying with everything we've looked at so far. Easy. Now you might say, yes, but you've got a Massey here. That is true, but the dealer that we use for this group here are specifically more Massey than the Fendt. So it's just a preference, really, for us. And we've been Massey through and through, and the price of this Massey is going to be a lot less than the equivalent of a Fendt as well. So it's all being kind of considered at some stage. Yeah, I do like this tractor a lot. I love the new layout here. We've got away from the T-stick that I've obviously got on both of my machines. The joystick on our left here does most of your main functions. Speed, direction. You can set up your PTO and things like that. And then the one on the right, I've got set up for the loader work. And you can also put it in for the third service as well. Now. This is going to be a bit tight. We're just going to try and swing it wide a little bit here. I get that they want to protect these trees when they put the fencing in, but like I'll never get a bale trail around here. And of course, what doesn't help at this time is that my slurry tanker here is probably about 3.5, 4 foot longer than it used to be because of the dribble bar on the back. So it's even less nimble than I would like it to be. Ooh, we're gonna hit a gate post. That good lord, is that ever tight? All right, well, we're in. Just as these trees grow up on the side here as well, it's going to look pretty impressive, that's for sure. But we're in. We're going to get ourselves into one of these fields to get started. I don't know if we've got enough slurry to cover everything today. We'll give it a good go. We will try our best here. It's already a good bit of grass on some of these fields, so it should look pretty good for us. And then we can just zip through. Okay. Yeah, nice bit of land, nice and light. It's got good drainage on here. It's on a hill as well, which will always help with the drainage. They actually reinstated some of the drains in here as part of the project that they're working on, which is part of an effort to rewilding and agricultural work in hand, really, because it's You know, a lot of farmers will buy out, or a lot of landowners, I think it's probably fair to say, buy their big chunks of land and then just stick a load of wildflowers in there and leave it, which is not very good for anything really. It's, yes, it's nice for the environment, but it doesn't help the food chain. It doesn't help the production of food for either animals or humans alike. So it's nice to be able to have that bit of an option. We are going to go into the field at the very top there for now, I think, and just get cracking with that one. If for no other reason, but because this bit's been flattened, I want to just run over with the dribble bar and see if we can make that look a little bit better for itself. What we would likely do, and what I'm trying to find and get a hold of some people to do now, actually, is for this field in the future, is to get like a dribble bar or a pipe set up in here, because that's going to be a little bit more effective. Have like some sort of nurse tank on the side, and that I could even trail backwards and forwards and fill up, and be able to really make a better go of it. But anyway, for today, we don't have that. We're going to crack on with this. As the temperatures are warming up more and more each day, we will be looking to hopefully soon crack on with a bit of drilling of our own, which would be cool. Got some spring drilling to do. So if we can get going with that, that would be lovely. Actually, before we get going, I'm just going to stick myself back into the corner properly. And what I also want to do is load this down. Alright, I think we're good. So away we go. Just slow that down a little bit there, I think. Now I'm doing that on the left-hand joystick of the two there. We'll take it down to a more reasonable speed so we get a better application. And we're off, folks. We are off. So we're going to keep this tracking for a few days. So it'll give us a good amount of time to have a play around, get some slurry done, get some other jobs done. Crucially, get some loader work done as well, so we can see just what we like. But with it all being said, I think it's we're on to a winner here. I would love to know what you think of the plan. What you think of the new land that we picked up as well. Lots happening here, and what you think we should do around our tractor options here. There's a few different choices, and I think it's going to take, obviously a lot of it's going to come down to the cost at the end of the day there, but we can still make a decision on which one we prefer before then. And I have an idea of which way I'm leaning at the moment, and we have to see how we can afford to do it. But with that being said, we'll cross that bridge when we need to. For right now, it's all about just trying out these lovely machines and seeing how we get on. Let's just lift it up, knock off the PTO again. We'll simply cruise back over. What I need to do as well is figure out how the GPS and this guy works sooner rather than later, so I can get that all engaged and plotted in, and then we'll be good. Today is gonna be a big day, a new chapter if you will, for the farm, but a sad day at the same time, because after approximately 12 years, this Massey is leaving the farm, and it's been a great servant to us. We've really used this to its max, but as you well know, over the past month or 6 weeks, we've been looking into a few options for new tractors for the farm, really. An upgrade to the loader tractor, various different reasons behind it. We'd taken on a little bit more work, and we just need a little bit more power, amongst other things. And also, this old girl's getting a little bit old now, so we're moving on. The new tractor is ready. We have made a decision eventually. We had a look at a few different options there, and we have come to an agreement. So this is the last drive for the 5400 loader tractor. We're taking it to the yard, to the depot, where we'll park it up, where our new tractor is ready and waiting for us. So I'm very excited. Now is the time for you to put your guesses in if you haven't seen the thumbnail, which I imagine may give it away. But it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it there. I'm pleased with the decision that we've made there, and I think it will help us moving forward. But yeah, let's just pull on in. And there it is. There she goes. That is our brand new, well, no, near enough brand new, Massey Ferguson. Of course we stayed red. Why wouldn't we? We're just going to leave this here, really. Alright, well, I don't know where this is going. There is a home for it already, apparently. We got a good price for it. It's off somewhere. And I'm sure it'll do, whoever's taking it will do them remarkably well. So Godspeed, 5430, and we will see you around hopefully. But yeah, beautiful tractor, did this perfectly. We just need to go bigger. And how have we gone bigger? Well, look at this. We went for the 50, and how have we gone bigger? We went for the 6714, the S series as well, Massey Ferguson. Now, of course, we were always going to try and stick Massey. I've been Massey for years. My dad was Massey before that. So it's going to be a very difficult decision to move away. And to be honest, we were close to doing it. We looked at it, and the Class and the new Holland were the closest to tipping me over the edge. That T5 that we looked at was remarkable. This guy came in though just after that, after we'd already agreed for the new land as well, so it gave us a little bit more power, a little bit more weight as well where we needed it, and I think this is going to be the tractor for us. So I've made the move, pulled the trigger really, and I'm happy with our decision. Hello. So are you. Yeah, let's have a look inside. Okay, so as we said, this is the same tractor that we had on demonstration. We have bought a new bucket for the front of it though, which was something I just want to do because I wanted to put a grab on there. We find a bit more use for that, so we're going to be keeping that muck grab oddly enough. But yeah, just something a little bit different really for now. So especially when we're doing a lot of work with the garden and shifting a lot more muck around, this is just sometimes a little bit better, and we can also use it when we come to put a bit of lime on our field as well. So everything as we discussed is exactly the same as it was in the original demo tractor. Nothing changed. GPS is in here as well. GPS is going to be slightly different to the version that we had, but I like that we have it on 2 tractors now. That's crucial, because there's going to come a time where we are doing field work and we're going to need to be able to have that feature. So very pleased with that. We're going to take it over to the yard now, where there's actually another surprise waiting for us there. We've been busy, and yeah, we've got a lot of new things happening now, and this next step is something that we've been looking into for a little bit of time, because I knew that I was trying to up my output for hay. So we've been able to do that, and this is just the next step in the process really. So we're going to walk you through what that looks like. Our little square baler is not in the yard at the moment either. That's away for a service. It will be coming back. Just too much to do, so I thought I'd let someone else take care of that and service it over there and make sure it's all looking good. And I think we're going to get that back tomorrow. So that'll be handy. But yeah, just the changes here are huge. I can't wait to be able to do things like hauling bales back to the yard with this. It was so much easier and faster and more comfortable than we were in the 5435 there. So it's just gonna be a huge change really. And a lot of these changes, when you go up into a different size tractor like this, for someone who doesn't necessarily upgrade their tractor every 2-3 years, there's a lot of lifestyle changes, right? It's a lot more comfortable, and you've really got to take that into effect. So we're yeah, very, very happy with it. And it'll be able to help out. We can drop the loader off here, and this can go into any of the heavier work that we have to do. So, you know, I think it's gonna be great. There is a front loader on this. Wasn't a requirement, but this model came with it. We were able to save a little bit of money because this was X demonstration. So we did okay there as well, which is good. So that factored in with the trade, and we still have to finance a large chunk of this. Don't get me wrong, it's not a cheap tractor by my standards, but you know, it made it more manageable, let's just say that much. So what we're going to do is pull this into the shed for the first time, where we'll have a look at new machine number 2, and then we're going to go off and get ready for a little bit of spring drilling. So we'll just come around this corner. It'll be a little bit easier to fill our feeder as well, because it is a little bit bigger. There you go, we're through. And here is new machine number 2. We've got ourselves a multi-pack for square bales. Look at that. This is going to be very, very useful. Now, as we've discussed, well, old habits die hard, I suppose. Now, as we've discussed, we are going to be doing a lot more hay this year. We're going to still maintain these small square bales, though. That's going to be where we're trying to make the most of our opportunities. And what I don't like doing is hand stacking square bales, and I want to make it as automated as possible. So we don't want to be stacking them in the shed on flat 8 grabs. We don't want to be worrying about stacking them in the fields, God forbid, in stooks either. This is going to collect 14 square bales, which are left in single file behind the baler. and this is going to allow us to then load them up nice and quickly, stack them into a big square bale, and then for us to load them up with our tractor. We can put 2 on the front with this tractor as well. It's got the weight to handle that, and we can get them all stacked up. One other thing to consider as well, we do have a lot more grassland now with the addition of our latest land acquirement, so we're going to be needing to stack them all in that shed over there, so that's going to work out very nicely. I think I'm very, very pleased with the decision that we made to go for that bigger tractor, but this should be should allow us at least to really step forward and take that big jump in our performance, in our output, and our operations. So intrigued to see how it goes. I'm hoping, depending on how we're going there, we'll either be sticking a tether onto the back of the Fiat, or it'll be going onto this Artisan as well. So again, big investment for the future. It's going to take a few years to pay itself off there, but it will. I have every confidence that we'll do that. And that's going to be everything that we'll be buying this year, let me tell you. We are strapped for cash at the moment, so we will be focusing on making a bit more of a return from our garden plots, and we also need to make sure we get all of our spring crops planted as well. So with that in mind, into the last 5400 that we have, the 5470, let's just raise up this guy. We're going to just scratch the surface of our the ground that we spread muck onto, what will it be now, about 2 weeks ago, and we're going to 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So yeah, and we're going to make sure we can get a good start on that one. Just work it in, work it over, so we can in theory drill into the top of it. We're only going to knock over the top kind of couple of inches, if that, really, of subsoil, so of the topsoil there, sorry. So we should be able to get a good seedbed to work into. And do as little tillage as possible there, see how we get on. But this is still going to be a main workhorse, really, if you like. This is still going to do a lot of the tractor work. Of course, we'll do as much road work as we can with the newer, more comfortable 67. Yeah, lots to go around anyway. And then we do need to put the drill onto this as soon as we're done. So we will be busy over the next few days. I was hoping to try and find a more of a direct drill. There's nothing really out there I can find. Just looking only for like 3-4 meters. I haven't got enough ground to go anywhere bigger than that. Yeah, nothing I can find yet, but we'll see. Anyway, we're gonna go back on over. We'll have a swing by. I made a few changes to some of the fences on the new yard as well. I'll show you those on the new land there, and we'll we got a lot of slurry put out there. The slurry store is now empty at the main yard because it took us a while. It's a long cart here, and if anything, that's reaffirmed my decision that next year we do need to get a contractor in a lagoon out here, or you know, a nurse tank on the edge of the field there. But you'll see now, we took out that corner bit of fence there just to make it a little easier, so we can almost swing straight on up there, because that was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare to get around. So we're looking a little bit better. Anyhow, let's get on up into the field here. We'll have a look, see. But yeah, I think it's got some slurry on up here. I hope it'll really start to push forward now, and we'll see what that looks like. But good amount of grassland all over the place there now. You can still see a bit of slurry on the top. But it's got plenty of time in which to work its way in there. We'll run a harrow over the field soon if we need to, just to, you know, continue to work it all in, but it should be fine. And we'll go up the road and into that field at the back. This field here, I'm waiting for a few soil samples back to see if we need to do anything else to it, but that is likely going to go into spring barley soon, and we'll see how we get on. But it's a fair size field. Not sure what I had in the last time round, but it was definitely a winter drilled crop there, so we'll stick some spring barley in, and we will see how it goes for the first year. I have an idea in my mind that we might need to look into perhaps putting a cover crop in there as well for a little bit, just to see if we can, if anything, just to see if we can get a little bit of activity in the soil there, get some earthworm activity in there, and you know, just to get things rolling. But we'll see. We'll see. Wait to see what the soil results look like when they come back. I do think that this summer coming, once everything's been harvested, we might end up having to put a bit of lime down on some of these fields on this block here. But again, we'll leave that decision till a later time. Winter barley looks good though. looks really good. Happy with that. And okay, onwards we go. So we can just that folded down. All right, I think I've got my, I'm going to do a rough AB line here, so we should be good with that. Stick it down. And then do I want to be in? We're in C2 at the moment, which seems a little aggressive, but maybe it's alright. As you can see, we're not really disturbing the soil too much. We're just working over the muck on the top, working it in a little bit there, and getting ready for a bit of direct drilling, because if it's just, it just needs to be worked in so it gives it its best chance to be incorporated into the soil. So that seems to be what's happening very nicely indeed. We're going to do the same for the other field when we get the green light to go into there. But as I mentioned, we're just waiting to see what that looks like at the moment, and before we actually start any work, to see if there's anything else we need to add in there, I guess. Right now though, all is good, all is well. We're just going to keep pushing through and keep on going in what's going to be the beginning really of a very, very busy spring and summer. We're going to try with the new ground there. We may look to get a little bit of silage off there as well, just to look to sell straight away, with the idea that in theory we can probably just stack it over in the shed in the far corner there. And if we can get that done, even if it's 50 bales or so, I think we'll get enough off our own ground for us. So if we can do that, then that would be great. And then we can look to add in as much hay as we can after that. There we go, we'll just go up here. And then we'll be cutting our hay there in late June, July, weather permitting. Sometimes it's a lot later because it's just too wet, but we'll see. And that will be going, if it's good quality, which we're looking to do, and we'll have to check again to see the quality of the grass as it continues to grow. That may well get reseeded as we get into the new year, but we'll have to see how we get on now. It's a bit late in the year to do that, so we'll just have to hold tight and then see where it goes from there. But if we can, we sure will look into it. Dust is flying off this, good heavens. Absolutely flying down. And yeah, and that's really gonna be us here. That's the farm going. That is the biggest news from the farm. 2 new machines. Let me know down below what you think of the Massey. I know a few of you were dropping comments saying that we should go for different machines, but some of them there's a lot of comments for Deutz. Just no Deutz dealers anywhere near us really in the area, so it made it a little bit impractical, and the dealer support is paramount. It always will be. So that's why we chose not to go for that option. But otherwise, we're going to get cracking along. We've got a big field to go through here. We're going 6 meters per pass. I just want to get this all incorporated in so the drill can come through next and we'll get it set up. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed. I have been David. This has been the next episode of the Tenant Farmer. And the Massey family continues and continues to grow. So hope you have enjoyed. Do stay safe. Enjoy what you're doing. And we'll see you all in the next one. Catch you later.